parts this year. Well, that would be four, wouldn't it? 2 parts this year. 2 parts this year. And I just have some bullet points I'm going to go over with you. This is going to be a shorter show because I feel like I'll get more information out to people and get more done. And once this live video is done, I'll cut out the beginning and everything we just did and go right into the predictions because I find that people are very impatient, especially on YouTube. People's attention span is very, very small. And I want to be able to put out a lot of predictions. And if I put them out in separate videos, more people will watch it, more people will get the information. But more than anything, I need to tell you that this information is not my opinion. This is not something that I just felt was going to happen. Well, some of it kind of is, but this all to me, I owe to spirit, my relationship with my spirit guides, guardian angels, and allies. You have them as well. We're all psychic. We're all intuitive. We all have psychic abilities. Your first instinct is 100% correct. How many times have you said to yourself, I knew I should have or shouldn't have done that? Like all the time, right? Like all the time. Well, that first instinct is always going to be correct. In reality, that is a team of spirit guides, guardian angels, and allies that you have appointed to you before you come into this life to help assist you in the different journeys that lie ahead of us. Because another thing I learned, and as I say, the darkness that controls this planet, let me tell you, there's a hell of a darkness that controls this planet. You can call it what you want to call it. I call it Lucifer and his army. And my mom used to say all the time, Joey, this is hell, and I can't wait to get out of it. And if you read the definition of hell in the Bible, it definitely matches that definition. But it's also what we make out of it because we are all the holders of the light and love. We hold all that within ourselves. So we may be surrounded by the darkness, but our whole goal is discovering and letting out that light and love from within ourselves. That's way more powerful and way brighter than any darkness on this planet. Let me tell you, I people are never going to believe it when I write about it. Let's just put it that way. And the things that tried to stop me from getting to Sedona, Arizona. And I'm not talking just on a physical level. I'm talking on a spirit level. I'm talking demons. They exist. Addictions that are demons that actually cling on to people. I've learned a lot. And what we're doing in Sedona, Arizona in the future is an honor and blessing to be a part of opening the first healing center of its kind using natural plant medicines and different modalities of healing to make the medical system a new system that actually heals the people. And I'm very excited about that. But let me tell you, they tried to stop me from getting here. I've had creepy people roaming around my property, watching me, white SUV. I've had, and I got video of it. I should put a video out of it. Somebody was in my house. I found muddy footprints on my kitchen floor, and I don't allow shoes in my house. And I definitely a muddy shoe. There wouldn't have been anybody able to get in here anyway. Their voices show up on the video, but their faces do not. Interesting. People are like, well, maybe it's a spirit. Nope. I did a big clearing when I moved in this house. This house is very well protected. So with that said, 2020. And keep an eye out that whole psychic thing that I just told you, you're psychic and intuitive. The darkness that controls this planet has been doing a hell of a job for many generations in programming us in a way you would have never actually imagined. One of my favorites is we've all heard that saying, that's fate, that's destiny, that's meant to be. Or in my life, it's in the cards. Yeah. So if you're a diehard believer, you go to a psychic and then they say this bad stuff's going to happen in your cards. Not only is it going to come true because it was said to you, not because the person was psychic, but mainly for one reason and one reason only: the law of attraction. You believe it, you make it happen. You trust it, you make it happen. This house that I'm staying in, I just read at my New Year's ceremony. I do a big ceremony in New Year's. Oh, excuse me. I was so honored to be able to do that with my dear best friends last night, right before midnight. And I write down things, seeds that I'm planting for the new year. And I found my paper and it said, thank you, universe, for helping me to find the most amazing, beautiful place in Sedona, Arizona. And literally, I didn't even find it. It showed up. It called me on the phone and showed up from another dear friend. So your psychic intuition telling us that it's fate, it's destiny, it's in the cards is a very tricky way of programming us at our very deep core in believing that we're not in charge of our lives or our future. And we grow up totally believing that and being convinced of that to a point that we don't even think about it because it's such a deep program within our deep core programming. Because you are a computer that's been programmed, starting with your parents and what they teach you, and then going by what you're fed by the darkness that surrounds us. And what I've learned over the years is when I used to read people, I used to say, This is what's going to happen, period. It's in the cards, right? Yeah, it's in the cards. Well, guess what? I learned that that's totally a bunch of bullshit. Bullshit. Excuse me, but I've become a little blunt with that lately. What I've learned is we actually, all of us, have very, very specific, fully orchestrated, very detailed, complex to such a complex level, future destiny opportunities that are, again, fully orchestrated for you before you come here. Every day you have a new opportunity to access the best, fullest potential. And that's why we have spirit guides, angels, and allies there to assist us. We have master guides that are with us since we come into this life until we exit. We have other guides, angels, allies that come in during certain pinnacles, certain crossroads, certain challenges, or that we can call upon. We weren't taught that. We were taught and programmed by the fear and ego, the two little devils on your shoulder that yell in your ear constantly, don't do that, do this instead. Ah, ha, ha, got her again, got him again. Now that you know that that exists, that's one of the big things I'll be doing this year is teaching people how to access your guides, angels, and allies. I'll be launching that in the next couple of days through live and again my platform that I'll be coming out with in a couple of months. But I want you to know that you are intuitive, you are psychic. Don't try. I had somebody on YouTube actually say to me, "Oh, I don't have no guides or anything because I tried and I'm not getting anything." You didn't try. You're trying. That's the word. You're trying. You don't need to try. The voices in your head are not always you, especially when you're alone in your own space with nobody else around you. But when you're around other people and in other spaces, we very often pick up on other people's frequencies and on their thoughts and feelings. It's so common, it's ridiculous. And our words are radio frequencies, they're energies that go out. Some people are more receptive, they have a bigger antenna on the top of their head to receive that information. And then you pick it up. You catch it all the time with your significant other, sometimes a family member, where they finish your sentence or you finish their sentence. And, you know, the brain thinks before we speak. So you're thinking and somebody else is picking up on that reception and they finish your sentence before you get to say it. It's pretty simple. For some reason, your spirit people wanted you to know that today because now's the time for us to awaken, people. It's time for people to awaken on a much faster level, and it needs to happen like immediately. So, going into 2020 world predictions, Spirit Man Joseph Tittel. So, first and foremost, prediction is the awakening that's happening on the planet Earth. I've been saying it for 10 years. I said it back in what year are we in? I think it was 2006 or 2007 when I said the people will awaken and there will be a point where they will no longer take all the bullshit that we're put up with the governments and the dark deep state globalists that control this whole entire world. And it's time for that to stop. And it goes to the big bankers, starting with the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, you know, all that. You can do your own research. I learned this actually from Spirit. Spirit would teach me things in meditation, and I didn't believe it. I was always the very skeptical one, believe it or not, in information I'd receive from Spirit. And I had a hard time, and I would go and I'd research it. Same with fluoride. Spirit told me to avoid fluoride. It's toxic to your body. And I'm like, well, why? And I like to do your research. I researched fluoride for years. It is basically the same as taking Prozac. Actually, if you look at Prozac is a molecule of it's fluoxetine, fluoxetine, which is a molecule of fluoride, which basically means a high potent dose of fluoride. Avoid it like the plague. This is the awakening that's happening, folks. And this is what I am going to say that 2020 is going to be the biggest year of awakening on the planet Earth than ever before, where the people come together finally and start to really stand forward and say, no, we're not taking this shit anymore. No, no. Because really, technically, find somebody that's completely happy with the monetary system. You know, even people that have money aren't happy with the monetary system. That monetary system and the credit cards and all the debt and all is what they do to you to suppress you and keep you in your modern day state of enslavement. That was their plan from day one. That's actually in my bulletproof, so I might as well add that to the predictions today. Digital currency, we all know it's coming. They've been talking about it forever. And these idiots that are dumb enough to put the chip in their hand, hey, it helps you open up the door. How fucking lazy can you get? Oh, excuse me. Oops, I cussed. They say people that curse a lot is a sign of intelligence. So I must be one intelligent mother. You know what? Funny. But anyway, yeah, they make things look as a convenience for you and make it look like a good thing for you. Whereas in the long run, it's controlled by the darkness that controls the planet. The one that taught you that it's all written in stone. That's fate, that's destiny, that's meant to be. Yeah, bullshit. Because if I thought that way, I'd still be suppressed, still living in Levittown, Pennsylvania, still probably depressed, maybe even dead by now. They suppress us with their pharmaceutical drugs. Everybody, it's like 90% of all adults over 18 are on some kind of medication. It's ridiculous. And I am so anti pharmaceutical. And I'm sure that'll come be blocked on my YouTube page. So that again, going back to that very first prediction, the uproar, outroar of the people awakening. We see it in Hong Kong happening. That's just the beginning, folks. And actually, I wrote it in here somewhere in my notes. Give me a second. I'll find it for you. Actually, the Spirit says, just work in order. Okay, I'll just work in order. I'll go back to that in a moment. First thing, I always label my years. I always have a label for my years. What was last year? Last year was a year of emotions and a year of water and a year of tears. And I think you all agree that 2019 was a year of emotion, a year of tears, and a year where water has wiped out a lot of areas, including Indonesia. This year, crazy goes crazier, and the not so crazy go crazy. Crazy go crazier 2020. That's when you're going to see literally the crazy come out in people. And I know you're already seeing it, but you're going to see it on levels unbelievable, especially in the United States of America, because their goal, the globalists that run everything, their goal is to destroy United States of America. It's the last so-called free state, free country, free landmass, but it's not as free as you think you are. But we are much freer than other countries, no doubt about it. But look at your ability to freedom of speech. I'm not going to say his name on here because they have these YouTube bots that filter and go through stuff, and I don't want to be banned. If I do, I'll have my own platform soon anyway. So whatever. He has that. He was banned from every platform in the world: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of them. You know who I'm talking about. His first name's Alex. You don't need to like him. You don't need to follow him. You can think he's crazy. I agree. He's pretty crazy. He's kind of a good crazy, but he's a crazy. I get entertained watching him because he's so crazy. But if you really know him and you watched him long enough or followed him, he's brought out a lot of truth. He's brought a lot of things to the forefront. A lot of things. And that's what happened. If you remember, the president, when he was doing his presidential campaign back in 2016, he mentioned Alex many times in his speeches. He mentioned bringing down the big banks. He mentioned bringing down the darkness. He mentioned things like celebrating holidays and saying Merry Christmas again, things that we don't do because it's what they suppress us and that's what they have shifted and changed in the world, especially the United States and Europe over the past 30 years plus. It really goes back to the 1940s, 1930s, 1940s, right after World War I, when they really started to come up with their plan in suppressing humanity and taking us into a total state of enslavement, just like they deal with in China. Did you know my videos are banned in China? Well, I think probably everybody's is. My videos are banned in many, many countries, especially my predictions, because they don't want people to know. That's pretty bad that I'm banned in the country of Germany. Why? Because I said something a few years ago about Germany. And they don't want you to know. They don't want their people to know, and they don't want them to have access to the things that we have access to in the United States, especially. But did you know the same system that they use to block and filter the internet in China to keep them in that enslavement, because they are like literally complete slaves. I might as well just chain them up to their damn desk because they pretty much are. Did you know that they just brought that into the United States and passed it? And they're going to use it, and they're going to start filtering and changing all of your opportunity for freedom of speech. That takes me back to Alex. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter whether you like him or not. What they said about him, that he's a racist, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. He's got black people on his show. He's got Latino people on his show. He's got transgender on his show. He's got gay on his show. So there ain't no racist discrimination going on in his network. Sorry. Like I had to put it on and I had to start watching it. I used to watch it years ago. I stopped. But after that big ban, I thought, what is he talking about that they're so afraid of people finding out? Because that's what it is, folks. He was banned because they are afraid that you're going to start to awaken and start to be like, hey, wait, maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. But even stupider of them, it was pretty stupid of them to ban him completely from all platforms, which just took his popularity up 5 more levels at least. His popularity, his ability to get out to people, and they're still trying to take him down. That was one of the big news stories yesterday about talking about him losing a lawsuit with the whole school shooting, something or another. Again, judges, all of them are all interweaved in this web of darkness in which we live within. That web of darkness is starting to be dismantled and fall apart. And there's those that work in the light, like myself, that are going to create a new web of light. We're doing that here in Sedona, Arizona with the Healing Center, the first of 7 global healing centers, that is, which will be the future hospitals. But first, the major web needs to be dismantled first. And anybody that's getting the truth out there, anybody that's putting this information out there is being banned from platforms. And then they're going to say things like, oh, well, they're racist. And then people that watch world news on the ABC and all those other networks are going to believe that bullshit. I don't believe people watch that. I've been unplugged completely from all news and television networks for over a year. I couldn't tell you what the hell's going on in the world, other than a couple things I heard recently because I started looking at little news things on Facebook to get an idea of what's going on in the world, to assist in predictions, actually. So that's the next prediction for you. A ban on your freedom of speech. A big ban on taking down and controlling everything that we see, read, and hear through the internet. Yeah, I agree. There should be filters that eliminate a lot of the bullshit out there because there's a lot of it. Yes, no doubt about it. We all can agree on that, right? A lot of stuff, just awful shit that doesn't belong on the internet, and lies and deceit. But there's a lot of truth. And when they say conspiracy, that's a conspiracy. Yeah, I'd say probably 95% of the time it's truth. They hide the truth under accusations of conspiracy theories. I am like others, I am a conspiracy realist, and I speak truth, and I speak that in which spirit shows me to speak. You are going to see a big ban on your ability to be free in speech. They just passed a law in the United States. I don't know if it's signed yet or what, that what is it? Taekwondo, kickboxing, a couple others are now considered terroristic weapons. So they're putting these laws on the books where if they don't like you, they can come in and take you away, whether with any excuse they want. And people that watch ABC is going to believe that crap. Turn off the news. I actually just there's a new news thing. It comes on YouTube. Y'all, you YouTube followers that go on YouTube, you'll see the commercial that pops up for that news thing. I'm not going to promote them or say who they are, but I just signed up. It was $1 for 3 months. So I'm like, I signed up because I noticed that some of the things that they were saying are pretty damn true. And it won't be long before they're taken out too. I'm surprised YouTube even lets them advertise on their network, because my videos, if I try to make money on them from commercials like I did with this, the one that I couldn't get to play, at least I'll get something out of this as it starts until they come and put a filter over mine too, so that you can't see this. I just put a video out on the new moon rebirth that we're in. This waxing moon cycle is huge for everybody. Take advantage of it, especially now with New Year's. That's why I did a nice big ceremony last night with planting seeds of things to manifest. It's really important to me. If any of y'all watch that video, the last 10 minutes is cut out completely. And if you fast forward to the very end of the video, the last 30 seconds, you'll see my credits come up on my website and all, like nothing ever happened. I don't know how the hell they did it, but they blacked out the whole last 10 minutes of my video. Mind blowing. I'm going to have to go back and see what I said in the last 10 minutes that got me blacked out, but that's what they do. So there's your second prediction right there, a ban on your freedom of speech. And going back to the first, the people awakening. People are going to awaken, and we're going to start to see what was happening in Hong Kong throughout the world. And you're going to start to see it in the United States. That's in one of my predictions, and I'll probably touch on that later. and my bullet points. So we're gonna start going through these bullet points in a moment. But I said something that popped to me today when I was doing these bullet points about college students. And I know there was something like that. I don't know where. I don't know. I forget where it was with the college students. Maybe it is Hong Kong. Maybe it was Hong Kong. Again, I don't plug into media, so I really don't know exactly. But you all know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure it was Hong Kong, where all the college students, that's what we're going to start seeing. This younger generation, especially the ones that are in college now, are not going to put up with this bullshit. They're not going to put up with it. They know a lot more, even though that generation's pretty screwed up too. But also, they're pretty screwed up in a good way because they're starting to be the ones that are going to grow the, you know what, the kahunas to be able to step forward and say, no, we're not doing this anymore. Look at all of us. If we all got together and we just all made an agreement that tomorrow we're just going to stop paying the banks, stop completely. There ain't a damn thing they can do about it. Nothing. Hey, we collapse the whole banking system the way it should be. But people ain't got guts to do it. They're too stuck in their patterns and such. Let me move on. Let me go through my bulletproofs because I swore I wasn't going to be here for 3 hours today talking. Crazy goes crazier for 2020. And you're going to see a lot of that. But also in the way of Earth, this is the year the Earth starts to shake and let us know that she's alive. And you're going to see a flashback to 2011, actually. 2011 was a 4-year numerology. Anything I talk about with numbers, I learned from my dear friend Allison Ballman, who's an amazing, fabulous astrologer. I mean, numerologist, excuse me. And I've learned about numbers. I'm not quite sure about the 4-year, what that could bring, but I thought of it today, actually this morning, that the last 4-year we were in was when I was predicted that Japan would get the biggest earthquake on record, causing a tsunami and problems with their nuclear problems with the power plant or something. That was in my predictions. It happened 3 months later on March 11th, 2011. We're going to have a repeat. Haiti came to my mind today. So Haiti popped up in my mind. So Haiti may actually be hit again with earthquakes. All that money that the Clintons raised for Haiti, they didn't even see a tenth of it, which is pretty sickening and disgusting that these people get away with doing fundraisers and taking all your money and pocketing the money and then only giving 10% to the cause. Again, that's actually you can research that one for yourself too. They are crooks. Most of them are. Again, a politician is one that you can become to be a professional crook because they're professional crooks. And even the ones that go in with good hearts, good intentions, get corrupted by the lobbyists and everybody else because people are so focused on money when they flash a couple $100,000 in someone's face. Sure, I'll let you put fracking in my neighborhood and poison our waters. Sure, we'll let you do that. Yeah, that's what it's all about. And again, the history shows those who try to fight things like that, they just take them out. Look at um the what do you call it? Um, Supreme Court, the Supreme Court judge that suddenly died in the time of the election and Trump and all that. Do you really think he just died suddenly, all of a sudden, giving one party more pull and leverage with that? And then trying to freak out, not allowing the new president to pick that person? Do you really think they were actually died of natural causes? No, they murdered them right in time and tried to do it before new president came in. Tried to appoint somebody else to get more of the favor on their side. The globalists, the darkness that controls everything you do. They watch you through your computer. They watch you through your phones. They listen to everything we do. They monitor everything we do. And this is a fact. I had a run-in with somebody with the NSA who confirmed that in Rhode Island, there's 13 acres, 13-acre big factory that holds all the computer systems where all your text messages, all your email, everything goes there. And it has little red flag things because, you think your computer's smart. You think some of these corporations have smart computers? You don't even know how smart computers are because they're like 50 years more advanced than they even let us know. So they have red flags that you say certain things, it shows up in your text messages, and that's what they do. They track everything. Like people stalking me since I lived here. Like I just moved here. Like I don't find myself to be that fascinating to be following and watching, but hey, whatever. Try to look at it as a positive. So That's that. The next one that came up was mass shooting. So again, going back to the weather predictions, you're going to see major earthquakes activity that's also going to ignite volcanic activity, which I'm going to actually jump ahead. Um, Volcanic eruptions, especially in Indonesia, Alaska, South America, and volcanic eruption that causes major issues with travel during a holiday time. So I don't know if this could be any holiday time. I really don't know. It could be spring break holiday. I was thinking when I think holiday, I think like the holidays that we just passed. I'm thinking maybe towards the end of the year of 2020. And you're going to see lots of big news reports come out this year. Remember the TV show in the United States 2020? And now we're in 2020. Kind of no coincidence there, huh? So you're going to see major problems with storms that raged. Florida came up, the Carolinas came up, California came up. And this was more in the way of like, not tsunamis, hurricanes. Hurricanes almost like typhoons. It's very likely that between United States and Mexico that they will experience typhoon type weather like they experience in the West. Besides hurricanes, there's a point where I see three hurricanes all huddled together out in the ocean, more the Atlantic Ocean, out towards Puerto Rico and such. And they know how to they control that too, by the way. They control the weather. They control a lot of things. But besides that, I see three swirling hurricanes all over the Atlantic Ocean. One really close to the islands, especially Puerto Rico and Cuba. Cuba is one that will probably be again wiped out, kind of like Puerto Rico. Cuba's going to get theirs. And then when it comes to the one with Cuba, remember me telling you, they made that happen. They don't want Cuba to be where it is, and they want to take control over the land in Cuba. That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. Let's go back to my prediction. So that's the weather. So I see three hurricanes happening all around the same time. The month of October came up to me quite a few times, and I remember Hurricane Sandy came in on October 29th. But I was thinking more early October, maybe around the 11th. They are dates to be aware of, always the 11th, the 22nd, and the 29th of the months, especially the 11th and the 22nd. You're going to notice this after I tell you that a lot of these big events that happen, and I don't mean weather events, some of them, a few, but I mean like events with the shootings and the mass shootings and all that, the crazy people, the crazy stuff that happens, that is mostly red false flags that they set up and make happen, which is because they can control and they can make people do things. You hear these people that go on mass shooting say the voices told them to do so. Oh yeah, they're what that we call that schizophrenia and mental illness. Oh no, it's not. Well, I mean, there could be a little bit of that there. Yeah, sure. I'm not, never rule that out completely, but they're hearing voices telling them what to do. And it could be multiple things. It could be that they send these demons to attach to people, because that's more common than you would ever imagine. I would have never believed it until I encountered it and witnessed it and fought it in all different levels in my own life and people around me. It's pretty powerful. So they don't need to physically scare somebody into doing something crazy. They can do it without even coming into contact with that person. They find their people, they use them as prey, and yeah, it's pretty sad. We're going to see a lot of that going on in 2020, sadly. Now, I really want to make it a point that that my predictions are not a way of putting fear out there. People want to hear predictions. I do it. I wanted to stop doing it like 5 years ago, but everybody wants it so much, and my accuracy is really well. So I continue to channel what Spirit shows me. And to me, Spirit wouldn't show me if I wasn't meant to tell you. It's just I live that rule. Even with a client, if Spirit shows me, I'm going to tell you. But it's more of a preparedness and understanding and a little bit of insight and truth as to what's really happening, because going into fear is not going to help anybody. That's actually their goal, is to keep putting fear into you and fear into you and fear into you. Told you, your psychic intuition, your guides and angels, and then you got the fear and ego. They've been programming us since we were little kids, starting with the fear, the boogeyman under the bed. If you don't do this or don't do that, you don't get toys from Santa. If you do this or do that, you burn in hell. They've been doing it forever. You watch the news, it's all bad. It's all about keeping you in fear. So I don't tell you predictions to keep you in fear. And if it does put you in fear and that stuff scares you, you shouldn't be watching. But and more than anything, you should be working on creating and building your relationship with your spirit guides, angels, and allies and your spiritual path. Because when the shit hits the fan, and let me tell you, it's hitting that fan on levels that you don't even want to know, uh, the only ones that are going to make it through are those who are spiritually connected and in the right place at the right time. And then again, there's probably more than one place and right place at the right time. Because if I didn't listen to my guides and angels 5 years ago, and when they told me that I needed to relocate to Sedona, Arizona to fulfill my fullest potential and do what I'm supposed to do on the planet Earth, I could be still in Levittown, maybe dead. Who knows? I could have made that choice, but I trusted my guides and I came here. So that's the difference. Your guides will show you and lead you to where you need to be at the right time. But we're in that last 5 years of chaos. Trust me on this, and that's not even it. Last 5 years before complete chaos. And you've heard me say it before. I'll tell you as the video ends as to a little bit more refresher on that. So I saw 3 mass shootings in the United States, 1 in Europe, possibly France or the UK, possibly both. It's going to be a big year for this. 2020 is going to be a scary year for this. But again, being scared isn't going to help you. Maybe you should carry a gun and learn how to use it so that if you're in an area where something like this happens, you can take out the shooter. But they're coming for your guns, by the way. They're coming for your guns. People have been saying it for decades now, but they are coming for your guns. Trust me on this. The bad thing about it is it's going to cause a civil war. I'll talk to you about that in a moment as I finish this with the 3 mass shootings in the United States, 1 being a school shooting, 2 school shootings, actually. I didn't realize I wrote that. 2 school shootings, 1 possibly in October or November, right before the election. One of these is a false flag event. It's a real event, but a false flag event, meaning the globalists are creating this bad, massive shooting event to occur so that they can try to blame it on whoever they blame it on, probably in this case, Donald Trump, to try to screw up the election and get their goal in getting the person in there that they want that's going to come in and destroy United States once and for all. Do y'all want that? Because I certainly don't. I live here and I don't want to see anything destroyed. I don't care what it is. I don't want to see it destroyed. We all should be living in harmony with each other, learning from each other, sharing ideas, sharing love. And there should not be one person on this planet going to bed hungry at night. There just shouldn't be. That's bullshit. There's people who are starving. Like, that's because they're starving them. It really upsets me, actually. So public shootings, mass shootings, 1 in public. The state of Oklahoma came up to me a couple times when I was doing my bullet points this morning. Basically, I did a little meditation, asked Spirit, what should I talk about besides the paper I lost, which maybe they don't want me to talk about what's on the paper I lost. But Oklahoma kept coming up. And then one of these definitely late October prior to the election, maybe early November. What's the election is, I forget, November 4th or something like that. It's probably the end of October. Look for that to happen, maybe even as soon as October 11th, because 10/11 is going to be an important date and time. So is 11/22. So November 22nd, you'll remember me telling you that date. 10/11, October 11th, another important date. And we're going to see a repeat, not a repeat, but we're going to see another 9/11 type event. It's sad to say, but it's going to be something along those lines. Anything to make it look like, well, he didn't do his job, so you shouldn't vote for him. You should vote for this person because this is the person we want in there to destroy the rest of your country and all your rights and take away your guns. Because I'm telling you, that's what they're trying to do, folks. As creepy and as scary as it sounds, that's why you should have one. You should learn to use one. And you should always have water and food stocked up as much as you can, that if anything happened, you have at least a week of food and water within your house. Which that reminds me, I got to do that and order. You can order survival food if you need to, but you need to have a good supply as we get into the next 5-year cycle. This 5-year cycle, this next decade that we are in, starting today, 2020, January 1st, till 2030, is going to be the most significant decade on the planet Earth ever, that will go down in history as the most important decade on the planet Earth ever. And it will determine where humanity goes from this point forward, especially when we hit the year 2025. Let me go back to this. I'll talk to you about that. I'm going to try to stay in order here. So, two school shootings, 1 October, November. The dates March 11th, 22nd, and 29th came up. I don't know if that's all March, but March 11th came up. I wrote that. Or no, March 22nd, I wrote first, actually. So March 22nd is a significant date, which actually, I'm going to check real quick while I'm here with you. March 22nd. What was that? March 22nd. Sugar me timbers. We have, I don't know why spring equinox doesn't come on my calendar. It should be on my calendar. Anybody else in the chat room have the exact date for spring equinox? It's between the 21st or 23rd. I wouldn't doubt it's the 22nd. I'm thinking the 21st is spring equinox because the 22nd, when is spring equinox? Spring equinox.
Vernal equinox is on Thursday.
Oh, it's early this year, the 19th. So I kind of figured it would have something to do with the equinox, the 19th. So I have the 22nd to 29th and the 11th, but 22nd was circled. October 29th was another date that I got, but that October 29th date was really like about a storm. But a big event, like a 9/11 type event, would be a big storm. But I saw something along the lines of like something really major. I don't even know how to go into that. Almost like 9/11, or we can balance it out with the Las Vegas shooting. And you remember me and my predictions that particular year? I said I saw somebody on the rooftop shooting down at crowds of people. And it happened months later in Las Vegas. So we're going to see events like that take place. These are the events that when you have these happen, there's going to be at least two, probably everything comes to three big events like that between now and the election, before the election. So between now and the end of October, but more sooner from now till September. This is all false flag type events. They're real events, but false flag events, meaning that these are put there in front of you and pushed through the media to put you into a specific level of fear to help them with their agenda of what that is. Their agenda right now is to change the presidency and not to see him win. And I'll go over that in a minute because Donald Trump's going to win the election. And if he doesn't, and regardless, again, doesn't even matter. The next 5 years is going to be extremely significant, especially the year 2023, and then again in 2025. So Virginia kept coming up in my all week. It was weird. I kept thinking Virginia. I'm like, what the hell does Virginia keep popping up in my head for? Now I ran into somebody. I'm like, and I'm like, where are you from? They're like, from Virginia. I'm like, that's weird because Virginia's been popping up in my head. So I thought maybe that's why I met somebody from Virginia. That's not why. There's something else about Virginia. And there's a push for civil war in this country. They want that. Civil war destroys countries. And they are pushing for that so bad. And what they're going to end up trying to do to attempt that to happen is they're going to go to a place like Virginia in the South, that part of the South, especially Bible Belt part of the South, and they're going to insist that people turn in their guns. They are going to do a gun collection. They're going to force people to not be able to have guns in one particular state. I'm thinking probably Virginia, but it's going to start in one particular state down along the Bible Belt. And that's what's going to cause the fury. That is what's going to cause people to load those guns and fight for their lives. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but that's how they want to start it. Start it in one state and let it spread out like a disease. So you're going to see a lot come up in Virginia and surrounding states going more towards the south and Alabama, Tennessee, places like that. Even again, Oklahoma kept coming up in my predictions a lot. Last time Oklahoma came up in my predictions, this was like 10 years ago. It kept coming up and coming up and coming up. And that particular year is when they had all those earthquakes, like literally like dozens and dozens of earthquakes. And that was all due to the fracking. In this particular case, these big events that they're doing and this civil war thing that they're going to try to cause. It's all about teaming us up against each other. They do it. They do it in sports. They do it in boxing. I mean, I don't even know how anybody watches that. Somebody goes into a ring and beats the shit out of the other person. I just don't get that. That's so violent to me and so negative. Or, person with the ball, he's the one with the ball. He's going to score. He's got the ball. Let's tackle him and crush him and like hurt him. To me, it's just too violent. I'm all about sports, but that's just like promoting violence with kids. I put on the TV, or no, it wasn't TV. I think I went on, I don't know, some app, maybe Amazon, for example, to look at options for TV shows. Just because I was curious what was out there and I wanted to maybe watch something new because I don't watch TV. If I watch anything, it's always a documentary. Once in a while, a movie. And I could not believe the violence and stuff. I clicked on one show. I couldn't believe right away the sex on the show right away. And I'm like, this is stuff like it was Amazon Prime actually that kids can go right on and access. That's really not good for our youth. That is not good. I remember when I was a kid, my parents wouldn't let us be in the room, or we'd have to cover our eyes if they kissed on television. Kissing is one thing, but like this stuff is like vulgar sexual stuff on television, violence and nasty stuff. And they wonder why kids are the way they are now. So Virginia again keep coming up in the predictions, and some of this I wrote Virginia, or you can't really say it, and the word chaos real big, and some of it had something to do with guns and a push. You're going to see a big push in 2020 with gun control. That's why you're going to see many events take place with shootings. I said this, I think last year, about Walmart. A lot of people don't realize that Walmart is a hub. I call it Lucifer's shop, Lucifer's bin, Lucifer's den, man. Go to Walmart. You can shop with Lucifer. Uh, Walmart was created to push specifically Chinese goods and imports from China. So you're going to start to see Walmarts being affected over the next few years, and maybe, hopefully, they'll all start to trickle out of business because that is a hub of darkness. More events and more negative things happen at Walmart stores. Police in most big cities get more calls to Walmart stores for violence than any other place or any other thing. You see my dog, you go by. That's my girl. She's 13 years old. Let me just check on the chat room real quick because it's a little hard to watch and talk at the same time. But I'm going to actually take some of your questions in a few once I go through these bullet points. I want to get through these bullet points, though, because I've been drinking water and I need to use the potty. Virginia. Okay. So Jeffrey, what the hell's his name? Weinstein? Epstein. Sorry, Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Did I not tell you, folks, in 2016 that Spirit showed me a vision and took me there in a journey, shamanic journey, to these underground pedophilia rings? I mean, when I say underground, I don't mean hidden underground. Yeah, that's part of it. But I mean like literally built into the earth, underground, that are all so highly technically advanced that like you ain't getting in there. I'm going to have to use the potty. I'm not going to be able to hold it. So let me finish this. So Jeffrey Epstein, I told you years ago, 2016, that it was the most disturbing vision I ever had in my life of these underground pedophilia, human trafficking rings that literally have factories built in the earth in every country. And they literally, all your missing children over the decades, a majority of them, probably 90% of them, were kidnapped and used for these rings. People think their kids are missing. Well, they probably, it depends. They get to a certain age. I believe it's 19, if I remember correctly from that vision. These kids are then their organs are harvested for the black market. And you know where the biggest place that happens more than anywhere? China. You got it. China. China is one of the biggest. That's where they hid first. But it's really, it's not necessarily a Chinese or Asian person that began this. It just brought them in on it. This has been going on for a long time, folks, for decades. I'm going to actually take a quick break because I have to use the restroom, and I can't pause this, so I'm just going to mute it for a second. Sorry, my friends. Now I feel better. Now I can move on without having to do the pee dance. Drink your agua today. It's the best thing you could put in your body. But don't drink fluoridated water. And if you live in the United States, your public water is fluoridated. Don't let them fool you. You can all hear me again? I muted it for a minute, but can you all hear me? Yeah, I'm going to take that as a yes. I think my chat's behind. I think it's behind. I didn't make it behind. But anyway, moving on. We were talking about Jeffrey Epstein and that whole thing. I told you that there was going to be a big break in these pedophilia rings. It is mainly the darkness that controls this planet through the fear, through the torment, through the hell that they cause upon kids, especially. Kids are their prey. Get kids while they're young, fluoridate their brain and make it dumber. That's a fact. Everything they do. They take these kids, they make them have sexual relations with nasty, disgusting fucking pigs. And then they make them have relations with each other to have more babies. And then they birth babies in these underground places. And then when they get to the age of 19, the majority of them are their organs are harvested. And not to really get too detailed here, but it's done while they're still alive. It's disgraceful. And this is the evil Luciferians. Some people refer to them as Satanism, but it's not the same. Luciferianism, they worship Lucifer, which is the darkness that was cast out of heaven and cast down to the planet Earth 3,000 years ago. Because Lucifer wanted a part of heaven, and the Lord was like, you cannot have part of heaven, and was cast down to the planet Earth. And if you look back that time period, if you were Lucifer, and you wanted your own piece of heaven, you would create it right here in God's heaven. Because Earth is pretty damn heavenly, except for the darkness that controls everything. So the Epstein thing, that I predicted that back in 2016, and then we saw that disgusting pig producer in Hollywood, whatever hell his name was, go down. You don't really hear much about him because they protect each other. Let me tell you, Epstein is not dead. He's not dead. I'll guarantee you that man is not dead. And take a good picture of him, side view, from say when he was arrested, and then take a side view of the picture they showed you of him dead. That's not the same man. That's not him. They did not kill him. He's a big part of the darkness. They can't kill him. They don't, it would be potentially smart thought for us to instantly say, yeah, they had to take him out. He knew too much. Yeah, he knows too much, but he knows so much that he controls a lot of these things. He's like kind of like the slumlord, basically, of all the pedophilia rings. He's high up. He's way high up. And just think, people like the Clintons, buddy buddy. They were even at the weddings with each other. You have to really look back in time and see these people that were associated with the Clintons, like Jeffrey Epstein, the disgusting pig producer from Hollywood, and all of them. There's pictures of them together. They were all buddy buddy. Do you think that they don't have something to do with this? Do you really think the Clintons and their power didn't know any of this? Nothing against, and let me make this clear too. I have no political agenda. I support no political parties. I do not like the whole objective parties. Left wing and the right wing belong to the same damn bird, people. Wake up. It's the same thing. And they team you up against each other. They do it through TV, through sports, through everything, through the media, and through racism. They basically want everybody to fight. They want to team us up. They tried to start the racial war type thing years ago with Obama in office. And then they tried it again with the whole Trump thing in the beginning to team people up against each other, hatred. Instead of them killing us, let them kill themselves and each other. Because that's exactly what people were doing. And it's just their agenda is not working anymore. The awakening is here. People are starting to find out. And it's not even find out, people's guts are starting to tell them. And they know this. It's in every prophecy. It's in everything. All the prophecies, the book of Revelation, Edgar Casey, Nostradamus, the Lakota, the Hopi. It's in all the prophecies. And they all say pretty much the same damn thing, but just worded a little differently. And we are in those last two prophecies of the Hopi and the Lakota. That's not good. The last one was the Black Snake Prophecy. I highly recommend if you have not watched the video I did. It was my first video like that, by the way. So um, I give myself credit, even though I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's awful. I could have done this or done that differently. But it was the first time I ever did anything in that format of producing a documentary video. But if you haven't seen it, it's got, I think, a 500,000 hits already. It's brought a lot of truth to the forefront with the Black Snake Prophecy, which sadly in that prophecy says the seven tribes come together and defeat the black snake, and if they fail at defeating the snake will cross the river, and soon after the waters will be poisoned. It marks off the end of the world as we know it. But guess what? They lost that fight. The oil companies won that fight. You will see those waters become poisoned very, very soon. It's another thing you're going to see that's just popped in my mind. This is why I love doing this in my meditative mode and all live. Major oil spills off the coast of Alaska. And one of them is going to be something that they do purposely. Why would they do that purposely? It's kind of sick. There's so much Spirit says with doing something like that purposely. Um, um, to again, Lucifer's all point is to rip apart anything that God's created. They rip apart the rainforest, which is the lungs of the earth. They pollute the oceans, which is the blood of the earth and the waters. That's what they do. Rip apart God's matrix, Mother Earth, and put into place Lucifer's matrix and web of darkness. The web of darkness is already here. We live in that web of darkness, but that web of darkness is being dismantled. Going back to the pedophiles, those sick effers. It like really annoys me. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But again, that would be Lucifer at his darkest. That would be him creating. Some people aren't going to like this either. The whole religion thing. I am not anti-religion. I believe that as long as you believe in what you believe in and it makes your life happy and joyful and you don't interfere with other people's lives and push that on other people, hey, do what you want. I don't care. But I grew up Catholic. When I was in CCD classes at the age of, how old are you? I think 8 years old. I was in CCD classes to make my Holy Communion. I came home and told my mom that the priest was lying and not telling the full truth of the stories of the Bible. That went over real good. My mom was awesome. My mom used to say, "You're not like everybody else. You're different. You're different than everybody else." And people are going to sense that and they're going to bully you throughout your life because of it. But remember that you're going to do something amazing on this planet while you're here. My mom knew it. And then she said, if you don't feel comfortable going to CCD classes, you'll find your way in the future when you get older, and you don't have to do it. I was the only one in my whole Tittle family never to make my Holy Communion. Uh, and to me, that's pretty powerful. So going back, if you were Lucifer and you wanted to create control and enslavement on the planet Earth, what would be the best way of doing so? Create a false religion where people think they're worshiping God and they're worshiping Satan. There you go. Catholicism, right there at a hole. Catholicism is collapsing. I said this back with Pope Benedict, the last pope, and I said that he was going to chicken out and be pushed out of office, be chicken out or be pushed out. He got pushed out. People told me I was crazy. That would never happen. I'll never forget that one, man. Like I got ripped apart for that one, saying how he wasn't going to go along with their agenda or not like their agenda and actually literally chicken out or be pushed out of the office. People were like, that'll never happen, blah, 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 blah. And it did. And I also said that next pope that comes in after him will be the final pope to reign in the Catholic Church for hundreds of years, if it even comes back at all, but over 100 years. And guess what? That pope resigned. He got pushed out. I'm surprised they didn't kill him too, because he knew too much. And this pope that's in there now, the Catholic Church is collapsing. There was a point where the Catholic Church owned everything. This is what freaks me out. Back in Levittown, Pennsylvania, where I was living my whole life, big churches I grew up in, churches that I've seen friends get married in and went to christenings in, sold out. You know who they sold them to? The Muslims. All the churches around Levittown that I went to when I was a kid, and not even a kid in my adult life, to weddings and all, are now mosques. Nothing against the Muslim religion, because again, there are a lot of them are fooled too. They're just brainwashed and believe in something wholeheartedly. They're not necessarily bad people. The United States makes them all out to be bad people. No, just like not all Catholic. Just because you're Catholic doesn't mean you're evil or Lucifer worshiper. No, not at all. Like that would be my whole family. No, not at all. It's just when you believe and you're taught something, you go with it. And then there's the radical Christians, just like you have the radical Muslims. Radical Christians are the cause of all the wars and all the disease, all the famine, and all the genocide that happened on this planet Earth. But it's falling, it's collapsing. And starting with Catholicism, because not just Christianity, because hey, I don't have my altar where I could point my thing, but I have Jesus on my altar, and Mary, and Mother Isis, and lots of others. I do believe a big part of it, but most of it's all lies. And it's been manipulated, whispered down the lane for hundreds of years. And it's just a lot of lies. But I'll tell you that book of Revelation and some of the prophecies that are coming into play are pretty creepy to me. And it takes a lot to creep me out. And I'm going to tell you that one at the very end. But so the whole object of this new world order, and to have the government come in and can have one world government, one world religion, one world currency. That's informed. They're working on the one world currency right now. You're going to see currency go digital, and it's starting in China, because China is going to control all the currency of the world, because that's where the darkness resides and holds shop, basically, is in China. That's where they're the biggest polluters of the planet. They're the biggest polluters of the oceans. They are in the biggest like communist enslavement ever. There's just recently an article I was reading that there was somebody worked in a factory in China, like with greeting cards or something. They put a note in a greeting card that went out into the shops, and it came, I think, to the United States, and somebody read it, and it got out to the public that this person says, I was arrested in China for doing nothing wrong, and I've been in this enslavement camp working chained to a desk basically in a factory ever since, and nobody knows where I'm at or even that I'm here. That's what they do. And they're bringing that to America, and they're bringing that to the rest of the world. And the world religion, because the Catholic Church has to collapse for the new world religion to go into place. And that's going to go right in the Vatican as their plan. They plan on invading the Vatican, taking it down, and replacing it with the new religion. The new religion, I'm pretty sure, is the Muslim religion, and I'll tell you why. Notice how they wear black robes and black hoods. Do you know who else wears black robes and black hoods? Only one other group of people. Satan worshippers, devil worshippers, wear black robes and hoods in ritual and ceremony. Does that not tell you something? That these people walk around in black robes and hoods, and the evil, the abuse that they do to women, and suppressing women, beating women, stoning women to death, and girls, and cutting out part of their sexual things, and it's sick. They're doing exactly what the Catholic Church did starting hundreds of years ago with suppressing women and abusing women and children. Well, now the Muslim religion is taking over what the Catholic religion started, as the Catholic religion starts to fold. And the Pope that you have now, again, is not going to last. I mean, there's not going to be another one that reigns afterwards. They might try to vote for one, but everything's going to collapse by then. And the darkness isn't going to get its way. They're not going to get their one world religion. They're not going to get all that. And they know it. That's why they're fighting so friggin' hard right now for this, because they know that all the prophecies state differently, that all of humanity comes together in pure love to rebuild the earth into the new Aquarian age. The Aquarian age started December 22nd, 2012. You all remember December 21st, 2012, the end of the Mayan calendar, start over. They tried to scare you and put fear into you that the world was coming to an end, just like they just did at the millennium when we went into 2000, the year 2000. That's what they do. Because New Year starts off with putting fear into people is a good way of making that year more controllable by the darkness. Say, the darkness has to create in order to survive, creates these events and this fear and these nasty, horrible things in order for you to be in that enslavement. So that's what's happening. That's what's going to happen. But when I'm done with the show, I'll tell you what's really going to happen, because the light's going to win. And we are heading towards the 7 years of tribulation in the book of Revelation. So we were talking about pedophilia rings, Jeffrey Epstein. You're going to see another Jeffrey Epstein be arrested. Somebody just like him within the media that has billions of dollars, and you're going to see the arrest of at least three major billionaires over the next year. You are seeing, and this all happened. I predicted this back in my 2016, 2017 predictions about these pedophilia rings and them all starting to be broken down and infiltrated by the light that are going in and stopping this. You know, when this all started, I hate to say it, but it all started in 2017, right after um, President Trump came into office. It started to happen, which again will take me to my final prediction at the end of this reel. So you're going to see another Jeffrey Epstein type thing happen and occur. Spirit keeps showing me the number three right now, so there's got to be a three thing with this. Three big ones that go down. One of them being a billionaire, but I'm thinking three billionaires taken down. More truth is going to come out with that, and more involvement in the truth is going to come out with the Clintons, along with the Bush family. That's starting to come to surface. Eventually, don't be surprised if going back to the Bush, the last Bush, we need to burn the Bush, that they end up being prosecuted and go to jail too. You are going to see between, not so all this year, you're going to see it start to happen this year, but between now and 2023, especially. But when we get to 2024, that's going to be the year of chaos of really bringing down the darkness. And you're going to see massive arrests take place throughout the world. Massive arrests. And they are going to come in and start rounding them up. You know, and a lot of them are already starting to prepare to go hide in their underground cities, like the one they have in the United States in the Ozark Mountains. That's a fact. 20 miles deep into the mountain, into the earth, is a whole entire city that they plan on escaping and running to and leaving us out here to fend for ourselves when the earth shifts. Because that's the other thing, is they know the earth's going to shift. That's why they're trying to get this power in place before the earth shift takes place, so that they have their total rule and total control over the earth the way they've been planning for hundreds of years, probably the past 3,000 years. They worked hard towards this. 3,000 years of trying to make this happen, and they're still working on it. You think darkness is going to give up? No, not at all. But the darkness is going to fall. That I know, that I trust. I know it's one of the reasons I'm on this earth, to help weave that web of light when everything in the dark is dismantled and falls apart. So you're going to see massive arrests. You're going to see a lot of political arrests starting to take place. But again, don't pay attention to regular media. Find a good media source that isn't plugged into and owned by the darkness. All these media outlets, CNN, ABC, CBS, Fox, all of them are owned by pretty much the same guy that controls everything. What the hell's his name? Ted. I don't even want to say his name. I don't even want to give him credit. But you know who I'm talking about. Ted something. I can't remember his last name. Somebody in the chat room will say it. Okay, so I see some questions there. I'll go over to them. Let me finish up here so I can go over to your questions. So Jeffrey Epstein type of arrests taking place. A break in just one. It takes one at a time. Take one down at a time. These underground pedophilia rings I told you that are literally built into the friggin' earth. Some of them are in big factories, and they are literally, many of them are booby trapped to explode and blow up, to wipe out any evidence that lingers with it. They're starting to round up their pedophilia crap now, you know, within that darkness ring, because they know this is coming. They know, they follow predictions. Don't let them fool you. One of the reasons I've been blocked from YouTube many times, because it's truth coming out, things that are going to happen. You don't think they know this already? You don't think they follow the prophecies? They're trying to shift that and make it different. And sadly, for all of us, the current president of the United States is a big holdup for them. And again, I support no political position, no, none of them. I don't like any of them at all, period. It's just all a bunch of BS. They're all crooks as far as I'm concerned in one way or another. But if you sit back and you really think about it, forget about Trump for a minute. Put him out of your mind for a minute. Just say president. Forget about who the president is. They literally started to take him down before he even went into office the day after he was elected. Doesn't that tell you something? I thought about that. I'm like, Doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, he's got a big mouth. He says shit that just like put a muzzle on it, dude. Like it's disgrace, disgrace with that. But he's a Gemini, and male Geminis are often known to say bizarre, off the wall things. So aside from all that, aside from him being who he is, and just say president, and pretend somebody else is president, was just voted in today. We'll say today, a new president was voted in. First thing tomorrow, they start to try to take him down before he even gets to step into that office. When he steps into that office, they continue to try to take him down even harder to the point that you could see energetically on his face that his health is being risked from stress. That to me put off a red flag past couple months thinking about it. I'm like, especially being, if you remember, I told you all my predictions last year, or actually, yeah, last year, maybe 2017. No, it couldn't have been 2017. He became president not until January. So yeah, last 2018 predictions. I told you that the whole Russian collusion thing was a bunch of bullshit, and not to support him because, especially at that point, I could not stand the man. But I told you, supporter or not, whether you support him or not, it was all a lie. Period. It was a lie. Well, guess what? It was all a lie. I told you it was all a lie. That should make everybody think. They got caught lying with that, couldn't get them on that, and now they're putting them on all these charges and they're impeaching them on no charges. If you actually read the impeachment, it's pretty sad. So you better hope that they don't get their wish in putting whoever they plan on putting in that office. I don't know who they plan on putting in there. Oh, well, I'll tell you, Hillary Clinton. I have a big feeling. I thought maybe today, New Year's Day, again, I don't watch the media or anything. Maybe I'll tune into the media later. Uh, I have a very strong feeling she's going to step right back into the race and try to take over. That woman has had a goal to be the witch of the White House for a very long time. And sorry, whether you like her or not, don't really care. As a person, she's probably a great person. Probably, who knows? But aside from that, sorry, she's the seed of darkness. She's just another one of Lucifer's troops there to try to bring us down. If she was in office right now, this country would be at war with Russia, without a doubt. Maybe Iran, one or the other. That's the other thing they're trying to do because the whole trying to cause friction with Russia, that didn't work. And then the China, and now back to Iran, and you're going to see North Korea pop back up too, because that really pissed them off. The first president ever in history to do peace talks with North Korea. They're going to make that look like a failure. You watch, mark my words. You're going to hear, and maybe you heard it already. I don't know. Again, I haven't paid attention. All of a sudden, Kim Young John, whatever the hell his name is, Kim Young. We'll say Kim Young. Is all of a sudden going to surface again. It's been so quiet there. Not a peep from him since the president's been in office and since those peace talks. But you're going to see all of a sudden he's going to start launching rockets again. You're going to see all this stuff because they're going to make it look like, oh, well, his peace talks didn't work. It's all, again, a flag, a false flag in most cases, where they're probably showing you video launches of rockets from 5 years ago to make you believe that he failed. It's all about basically throwing a big fork in the way of his election to so he does not get in again. But I told you once before, I'll tell you again that he will be reelected. And I tell you, I'm not voting this year because I find no point in it because it's pretty rigged in most cases. I don't feel like it was rigged in this case. It was, but the person that rigged it didn't win, and they're a very sore loser. And they've been trying to take him down since. I won't vote because I wouldn't vote for him, and I just won't vote, and I won't get plugged into that whole system because it's just nothing but negative energy. But again, going back to the prophecies and the things that came to me back in 2016 in meditation, where I was told that he was going to win twice, that he would make it to the third year of his second term and die a month after his birthday. And I am the first one to put this out there. So, back in 2016, you can look back, you can trace this. There's writing of this, there's video, everything of me saying this and putting this together for you. Spirit told me that back in 2016. I told you all January of 2017. January 2017, I told you all this. Because, yeah, I got it right before he took office. I got that information. It might have even been before he got elected. I was told he would make it to the second term. He would die a month after his birthday and so forth. And then I put all the rest of it together with the seventh prophecy. And to me, if you put the word Trump and Pence together, that would be 7 years in office, and that would be the seven trumpets blowing out of the book of Revelation. I have literally no doubt. And I'm again keep an eye out for a video on that within the next week or so, definitely by the end of the month, so that I can create that and put that out to you. That and the Earth Shift video about the year 2025. So again, going back, Hillary jumps into the race. I have a feeling she's going to jump into the race, or it's going to be like she jumped into the race, totally at somebody's side the whole election. But she's got something up her sleeve. I don't know what it is, but she's got something up her sleeve. And there's not going to be a witch in the White House. I could tell you that. Virginia, we talked about going back to the this year is going to be so chaotic. You think the election was bad the last time? This is going to be bad. This is going to be really bad for United States of America. And I don't know about you other fellow Americans, but sometimes it's quite embarrassing. They're embarrassing us Americans by the bullshit that they put out there and the chaos that they cause and the fighting with each other. You know, it's good that if you want to be have your parties, your Democrat, Republican Party, but like do it in a peaceful way. There's no need to do it in a way filled with hatred and negativity. That's what they want. That's what they feed on. That's what the darkness feeds on. And that's how the darkness gets its power. And that's how the darkness gets its way. Don't feed into it, folks. Just please, just don't feed into it. You're just sabotaging us all. Just let it go. Vote for who you wanted to vote for, and let it go because the divine's in charge, and whoever's going to end up in is going to end up in. But as of now, and again, going back to 2016 in my meditation in January when I told you this of 2017, he's aligned to win, and he's aligned to do it for 7 years and to die a month after his birthday, which would happen to be July, the seventh month, and he'd be 77 years old. Kind of interesting, huh? When Spirit told me the just that the reelection in the third year of his second term dying, that's all the information I got. The rest of it I put together, and it kind of creeped me out a little bit when I put all the sevens together. I'm like, oh my god, that's it, that's it. I was just actually, I don't know if a friend told me this yesterday or I saw it today on YouTube, but um, they call it the Trump syndrome. People have gotten literally a psychological disease when from this, and it's just kind of sad. They call it that because people believe that him being in office marks off the end of the world. Well, folks, we've been at the end. We've been at the end of that time period of the Pisces age. It ended December 21st, 2012. We entered into this Aquarian age on the 22nd of December 2012. The symbol of Aquarius is the goddess holding up a dark container up high, a light colored container down here. She's pouring this one up here down into the light container. She's pouring the dark masculine energy down into the light feminine energy to bring balance back to the planet Earth. And you see it. You see it with the Me Too movement. You see it with all of that. Women are about to take their power back. That's why, again, that Muslim religion, how they abuse women so badly and enslave them. And, you know, the guys get to do what they want. That is just a total darker repeat of history with other religions, a way of controlling you. If you're going to promote other things on my YouTube channel in my chat, I will ban you instantly. So you know. It's pretty simple. This is not a place for you to promote yourself and act like you're promoting somebody else. This is not a place to promote anything other than what we're talking about with us in this chat. So into timeout you go. I just happened to look up and saw that. I'm not really watching the chat, but I will watch it in a minute. As I go on, I want to get through this. My tummy's starting to growl, getting hungry. You are going to see during these rallies in this presidential campaign some of the most serious, crazy, chaotic. You think the last one was bad? Huh? Wait until you see this one. And it's not because of things that one of them say. It's going to be because of what they put out there to try to cause chaos amongst the people, to try to get unrest on the planet. And you don't want it to get to a point where they end up calling martial law. And it won't be Trump won't do that, but if somebody else ends up getting, if the darkness gets its way and puts whoever else is meant to go in that the darkness wants in that spot, not sure who it is. I'm kind of thinking it's Hillary still. I guarantee you that this country, the United States, goes into martial law and civil war literally the day after the election. We don't want that to happen, but Spirit shows me that that's a very big potential. That's why we need to awaken the people and tell people to be awake, to pay attention, to really know that a lot of the things that you're watching are all the ploys to throw you in a different direction, to throw you into anger, to throw you into to teaming up against others, and just it's not good. It's going to be a really crazy year in the United States, especially, but you're going to see this all throughout Europe and even in England because they're like the co-inhabitants of the United States. They're all connected. And France keeps coming up to me over and over and over again. And when France comes to me, I can only think of the stuff that happened in France years ago with all the terrorist attacks. It's the first thing that pops up in my mind when I keep hearing France, 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 and those dark radicals that are part of this, along with the deep cabal elite that control this, that's their goal. They want to wipe out Europe completely and then take the United States down with it. They already have it where you can't have guns or control of anything in those countries, and that's what they want here. They want to do make you so scared that you're going to give up your gun, which would be the absolute stupidest thing you could ever do. Like literally, that would just be flat out dumb. Do not give up. Who was that? I think it was Abraham Lincoln that said that. You give up your guns, you give up your right to fight dark government decisions. And that's what the government is, sadly. Not all of it. I do believe there's good in there somewhere. So it shows, I said, there's going to be a lot of talks and a lot of fake news, some of it real news, about assassination attempts on President Trump. They are going to try to take him out. No doubt about it, especially if he wins. You're going to see possibly at the actual presidential inauguration an attempt on his life. They are definitely going to take him out. Oh, going back to the Alex guy. I forgot about that. Thank you, Spirit. I'll write that down. Alex, the dude that was banned from all the platforms because of his info channel.com. I just want to write this down real quick. Alex, he kept popping in my mind. Alex, um, they're going to take him out. They already took him off all the networks and, they banned him from every platform out there, took away his freedom of speech. And I have not heard him say one racist thing when I watched him before. And I put him on recently just to see what's going on. I couldn't believe he had a transgender person working for him and just all different races and all. He's not a racist, I can tell you that much. And if he is, then he hides it in his own behind his own front door. But they're going to actually they're going to try to kill him, and they're going to be successful in killing him. And they're going to make it look like some kind of tragic accident or something like that because they know that they have to be very careful in taking him out because taking him out will cause, again, crazy hysteria amongst the people. He's got millions and millions of followers all over the world, and they banned him from every platform. That would be like banning me for talking to you about this today from every platform because they'll try. I wouldn't doubt it with me, but again, I have new connections coming my way, and I don't worry about all that. I'm just worried about enlightening you and helping you on any level I can. And this particular channel is mostly just about predictions and prophecy, but on a spiritual level separately. So I see a lot of threats that come up around Trump rallies, like you saw in the last election. A lot of those were phony, by the way. A lot of those were people that were paid to go into place and start fights or to throw fists or to be kicked out. That's actually a fact. Again, if you do your research and you look, some of these people have stepped forward and acknowledged being paid to do things. That's what they do. But you're going to see it on a worse level, and you're going to see it on both sides. You're going to see it in the Democratic side. You're going to see it on the Republican side, mostly all towards Trump with the Republican side. But with the Democratic side, you're going to see it with whoever the big forerunner is in that election when we get towards the summer months, especially mid to late summer when we're in the second big shift of the year. And when we're in those big energy shifts, that's when all the truth comes out. That's when all the chaos comes up. So you're going to see it on both sides because it's not going to work because they tried it before with the one side. So they're going to actually make attempts at the other side to piss off the other side more, to make them more angry at the right side or left side or whatever. I don't know which one's right and which one's left. All I know is it's the same damn bird with the same wings and needs both of them to fly. So you're going to see assassination attempts on him, and they will actually, especially when he wins the election. Um, in the third year of his second term, when he dies, you're going to hear first thing in the morning, president was found dead in his bed this morning of a massive heart attack or something like that, which is going to be a lie, by the way. So I'll tell you that right away. When you hear that, you'll know that they succeeded in killing him because they really want him out. They want Pence out eventually, too. And they want Nancy Pelosi to be the president, the female president, the first female president, because she would be the one to go into place. Let me tell you, that woman is dark. Like, she is evil. I don't know how you can look at her and not see that she's evil. It comes out of her skin. Like, oh, she's so evil. Yeah, anyway. I saw a vision of Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, being rushed out of, like, I guess a campaign rally, I guess it would be. Like, literally, I saw them jump on him and cover him and like pull him out of the room. So that probably this vision came to me when I was doing these bullet points this morning. And it's right after I wrote, assassination talks and threats at Trump rallies on Donald Trump. And the very next thing I wrote on my bullet points is Trump rushed out by security. And I saw that as a vision. I saw them literally jumping on him. And I don't know, there could have been a loud bang or some kind of shot that was fired. Probably is what the case is. But I don't know how anybody could get a gun into a rally, but they're going to try. They're really going to try. My next one on my bullet points here is Hillary jumps into the race, whether it's directly or indirectly, but she's already in it. Assassination attempts and talks. Oh, I read all that. China. China, that's a problem. Yo, you all got to go back to the video I did on the Trump prophecy, where it's not my prophecy. It's one that I found right after he was elected. Like, literally 2 days later, it just showed up on my page. Someone sent it to me. And when I read that and I researched it a little bit more to read more deeper into it, that is scary. And you'll go back. Some of you will remember that watch that. Talks about a indigenous Hopi from Arizona, actually, from Hopi land up north, who wrote a prophecy, I think 1983, 1984, about the true brother in the white hat, in the red cap. And I'm telling you, I said it to y'all. I did that video literally immediately after I found that and read it. And I was like, oh my God, that's Donald Trump. Go back and read that again. Go back and watch my video again. Like, seriously, go back and watch a video. You want to talk about creepy? I told you, I knew that prophecy was him. I knew it was him. And it talks about he's here to align with this person and this person. And when you read the description, the one's definitely Putin and Russia. And then the other one's got to be the leader of China. Now that time has passed. And if he fails to at his mission, the red ants come over the waters in the nighttime and within 24 hours destroy every major city in the United States of America. The red ants is China. If you see what's going on right now with China and with Russia and how they did this whole Russian collusion thing, they did that on purpose. They know this prophecy. Think about it. They know this prophecy. They read it. They know it. They've heard it. They follow it. They know he's the man in the red cap. Come on, red cap and red hat are two different things. This guy said a red cap. Trump wore a red cap. I'm telling you, that prophecy's him. I have no doubt. And we do not want him to fail at his mission, no matter what it is. Whether you like him or not, who cares? Who cares? Let's just make sure he does what he's supposed to do for our country and for the rest of the world. Because other than that, the red ants come in and wipe out our cities. Yeah, do you really want that to happen? Because if you really think about it, everybody's like, oh, well, the United States is the biggest military, blah, blah, blah. Well, let me tell you, if the United States wasn't expecting it in the middle of the night for them to just all of a sudden send over, you're not going to get them all. We'll never take them all out. It's very possible their military might even be bigger than ours. They have more people and more money. Just saying. I truly believe that's not going to happen and that he's going to do what, if it is him, he's going to do what needs to be done. But it makes total sense now with all this stuff with China and everything else. And that came up in my predictions. China is the superpower of enslavement and communism. It is dark. You won't see anything of me in China. They ban it all. And it shows China halts all shipments. I didn't get all shipments to the United States or all shipments to this or that. I just got China halts all shipments, which basically China is cutting somebody off from shipments. I mean, it's an easy guess that that's probably United States. Again, that's not what I got in my prediction, and what, but again, it just makes sense that it would be United States. I don't get how long those halts of shipments will be. It's not going to be forever because they depend on the United States. We feed them, even though they own half of the United States and the national parks in the United States. Did you know that, American people out there? Next time you go to a national park and you look at the sign, make sure you read the fine print at the bottom because some of them it shows right on there that they're owned by China. One of your presidents in the past sold us out to China, sold our land to China because we owe them so much money. It's disgusting. Makes me want to vomit. China halts. Fake news chaos at a Trump rally. Shots fired at rally. Oh, I didn't even. I don't even remember writing that down. So that goes back to what I was just saying. That I saw him being like literally jumped on and covered up and then dragged out of the room with security, massive, massive amounts of security. So yeah, that makes sense. But some of this, again, came out. I wrote it as fake news chaos at Trump Trump rally. Shots fired at a rally. So actually, no, it's probably separate because this might be outside the rally because this feels like it's more likely outside of a campaign rally. So again, just don't pay attention to everything in the news. Don't believe everything that you're hearing in the news. You know, some of it might be true, but even the true stuff is going to be exaggerated out. Vaccinations. Oh, I know a lot of my fellow followers out there know, like I do, about the vaccinations and are disgusted by it. But you're going to see things with vaccinations really come to the forefront over the next year. And their goal is to get everybody to be, again, chipped and whatever they want. And not that all vaccinations are bad, there are vaccinations that have been proven, but they can put whatever they want. And remember, vaccinations make pharmaceutical companies lots of money. So to do a situation where all of a sudden we require all Sumerians, for example, I'm just using a metaphoric example, to be vaccinated by the herpes vaccination or whatever. We require this. You have to have this done, everybody. And actually, I think that is happening somewhere with the measles virus. Yeah, I think that is actually happening. Maybe it is Sumeria. Yeah, I think it is actually happening. But that's just a small test of what they're going to do everywhere else. They're going to do that. They're going to put out a big scare and make everybody all of a sudden start having the measles. And yeah, oh, that's coming to the United States, people. It's coming to Europe. They're going to do something and make it so big. They do it with the flu vaccines. I'm sorry, but I don't get that. Haven't gotten it in years. The vaccine or the actual virus. Knock on wood, because I don't want to get it. But it just seems that all these people I know that get that vaccination every year end up still sick with the flu every year. And then they say, "Oh, you should get it. You're going to get sick." Well, how come I don't and you do and you got vaccinated? Like, come on, think about it. You're vaccinated, and then they say, "Oh, it's just a bad cold." No, you got the flu, and I'm not saying that they're all bad and that like not to get them because I'm sure there's some goodness behind it. There's more bad behind it than anything. And as far as I'm concerned, it's probably the biggest waste. Maybe for senior citizens, maybe it's helpful. But I bet you if all those senior citizens stopped getting flu vaccines, the death rate with the flu would still be the same. I bet you. I'd actually put money on that one. So there's a lot of vaccination pushes and scares and a new disease where they're going to utilize this as a way of pushing. A new disease or an old disease that becomes a new. So, kind of like polio coming back or something that we haven't seen in decades all of a sudden arises again. The measles, that's one of them. But there's another one besides that. And they're going to do this. They're going to do a push and a scare to get people vaccinated for this disease. And they're going to make this outbreak look so bad that you're going to go into fear. And then measles, oh, I did write measles down. Measles outbreak and Ebola outbreak are two of the big outbreaks you're going to see. Ebola is, they tried this before. Remember the whole Ebola thing? People were all freaked out about it and like going into panic and fear. Remember that? Yeah. And they tried to make it look like the hospitals had all these tents set up and all this bullshit. Yeah, they're going to do something like that very, very soon. Probably. even more so after the presidential election, like right after. So November into December around the holidays. China problems with their own people rising up. So we see this in Hong Kong. I have college students rise up. This is in the United States, actually. You're going to see the college students rise up. I see them getting together and coming up and doing big rallies. But first, it's going to start off with teaming against each other, the left and the right, whatever, Republican, Democrat, for example, and causing big issues in colleges, like fighting kind of issues. But in the long run, that's actually going to bring them all together for one big cause. And you're going to see this, and it might not be United States, but it is eventually going to be United States. You see things like this happening in Hong Kong. You're going to see this become a very big thing. I told you these college students in that particular generation is not going to put up with this. Most of them have come back to this earth to be a part of the awakening, to help awaken the humans, because the rest of us are too old, stuck in our patterns and stuck in our spaces because we've been here, more programmed. They're not as programmed as we are. They are programmed from the core, but their program's only 20 years old. Our program, mine's 49 years old. But I'm not. I've worked really hard on reprogramming myself over the past 3 years, especially. So it shows China is going to be one of them, one of the places where they're going to have really big problems with the people rising up, but it's going to be one of the things they're going to hide from you. They don't want Americans, especially, or Europe, or England, France, UK, any of that, to know about this. They're going to try to suppress it because they tried to suppress the whole Hong Kong thing. But the media is too big. The internet's too big. You can't suppress any of this anymore. Because if it starts happening in Hong Kong, there's people on social media in Hong Kong that are putting it on their social media to friends that don't live, or family that live outside of that area. So it's going to break out anyway. It's going to happen. But you're going to see major problems with China. And it might actually go back to me saying China halts all shipments. That might not have nothing to do with the whole Trump, you know, uh, shipment thing that's going on and the whole tax thing with that. I mean, we can easily assume that. But remember, Spirit keeps showing me everything's twisted this year. Everything's different this year. And things are always going to end up being totally different and opposite of what you actually see in the beginning, or feel, or think in the beginning, or assume in the beginning, because most of it is assumptions. Um, just checking my chat, make sure everybody can still hear me and we're still good. So, China problems with their own people rising up. That could actually be what causes shipments to be halted. Now that I actually go back, how far apart did I write these? They were actually pretty far apart in my bullet points. But this was like most of this I wrote this morning. My friends left. I sat in my living room, my cup of coffee, and I just started to say, what I did my little smudging, showered, got cleansed, and just did bullet points because I wasn't going to let my people down today. Even though this isn't what I planned, and I like to do a list of predictions, which I will get that out to you again probably by the end, by maybe even this weekend. We'll see what happens. But yeah, they're far apart. So they could be associated, though. It kind of feels like it could. So if China has issues with their people rising up, or people getting up and saying we're not doing this like we should be doing, there's nobody making the stuff for them to ship, or maybe it's the shipment places that stop. But China's going to have its problems because China is the hub of the enslavement on this planet. That is like the place where what's in China is what they want around the world. And you don't know because you're not there, but they are literally enslaved to a point of just disgusting. And they say North Korea is bad with that. Actually, he's a saint compared to China, a complete saint. And they are going to try to bring back that whole North Korea thing. Mark my words. Um, there's more. Yeah, I was gonna say my pinky toe. Yeah, there's no danger like that guy posts towards us. It's what they tell you that he says, Kim Jong. Uh, that is the danger. So when you see this on the news and you see them talking about he's doing nuclear stuff, where do you think he got it all from? The dark cabal, deep state that controls everything goes in and they literally have a control over that. But Trump went in and changed it and brought peace back. Now the deep state went back into North Korea and got back into Kim Jong Un and really brainwashed him to the point to try to do this. Ugh, excuse me. This thing shows up on my chat sometimes, and I'm not. I don't do this live thing very often, but it'll show up and message is blocked. And I try to look. It doesn't tell me anything. It's weird. See, they're even blocking your messages. Like they're just blocking your stuff. Like some of it's just blocked. Look, this message is hidden. I didn't hide it. I don't even know what it says. What exactly is going to happen during the Earth shift? Do you really want to know? It's going to shift. I mean, what would happen when the Earth shifts? Everything goes out of balance. Everything, which causes storms, darkness on the planet for 7 days, and all things in the Book of Revelation, actually. So, speaking of that, college students rise up. We talked about that. You're going to see that in the United States, but you're going to start to see it in Europe first. And that might actually be more around the UK. There's a lot going on there too, because again, that's where the darkness started. That's where it was developed before coming to the United States and taking over the world. You're going to see a lot of stuff with that Brexit, that whole that whole thing. That's not done yet. They've been putting that off and putting that off and putting that off as long as they can because they want to keep it in place because they want to keep control over everything the way they did. And people don't want that now. And now that people don't want that, they're suppressing the people that don't want that and making it really hard for them people to eat and to survive. That's what they do. When they're not getting their agenda, they make it force you into believing it's really good what they're doing or that you really need to do this for yourself. Like the chip that they're putting in people's hands that people are stupid enough to put in their hand. Did you know that chip's so small that they could put that in a flu vaccine and give it to you and you would never even know? They're numbered. Do you know that that your passport has to everybody has to have this new passport and driver's license now that actually literally tracks you? It has a digital chip in it. So whether you have a chip in your hand or whether you have it in your wallet in your driver's license, they're going to track you everywhere you go through your driver's license and through your passport. They already do it with the passports. And then, there's even people that peeled them apart and showed you the inside of their passport and the chips that are in them. Well, now they're doing that in the United States. And I think it's this year where it's going to be required you have this new driver's license. It is a way of chipping you. It's like a social security number, but it's a number, a human number. And they can push a button and wipe that number off the planet anytime they want. Folks, don't give in to this stuff. Don't give in to their technological advances that they're going to try to make look convenient and good for you. There's a darker underlined reason for these things, especially the chip. To me, that is the mark of the beast, if there is such a mark of the beast. So storms rage on Florida, Carolinas, California. I think I talked about this in the very, very beginning. Um, like big storms, like literally. And again, going back to 2011 with the earthquake in Japan and tsunami, we're going to see a repeat of such an event somewhere on that coast of Asia. I don't believe necessarily Japan. I'm thinking probably more likely Indonesia and that part of the globe. I will do before I come back to you with my actual more enlisted predictions next week. I will do what I call map scrying. Scrying is when you gaze into a ball or a bowl of water and you see visions. Well, I do it with a map. And that's how I've had such extremely precise and accurate predictions with weather. So I'm going to do that. I haven't had a chance to do that because, again, I just moved, chaos, had people over, my family here for a week. They just left this morning. So I'll get all that out to you, though, folks, because I have nothing to do but my work here in my office, in my space, and hiking in Sedona, Arizona. That's it. That's enough from me. All my friends, mostly on the East Coast. I have some here, but it's all about work for me now. I'm very focused on what I'm doing and what I'm getting out to you all. Fires. This is a big one. This one really disturbs the hell out of me, actually. These major fires that they have, these forest fires. Do you know who lights these fires? Do you know who is responsible and why they do it? Hmm. Have you ever really thought about it? Let's take Australia, for example. In Australia, they're having a big problem with the forest fires, or had. Hopefully, it's under control by now. But they also have a big problem with the waters drying up and the rivers drying up. And one of their main rivers, that like the main river, all the wildlife on it's dead because the water's just stopped. There's no water. But if you actually follow that dry riverbed all the way up, you'll see where it's blocked off by a dam that's holding all the water back to wipe out all the wildlife beyond that point. But they are taking this water and they use this water mainly for fracking. I think it's like something like 150,000 gallons or 150 million gallons or something like that. I think it's 150,000 gallons each shot of shooting that into the earth for fracking. They use so much water for fracking that a majority of this water on the planet is actually that's disappearing and drying up is from the oil companies doing fracking. And the fires that you see, there was I think this was Australia actually, where you know, no, actually even the United States, where we had these wildfires that wiped out tens of thousands of acres of land, and there were even trees that were growing out of that burned forest. They were going in, pulling out all the trees, the living trees, the ones that survived, and pulling them all out. Because it's easier for them to burn the land down and make it completely not good anymore so that they can go in with their agenda of digging for oil, fracking, and so forth. That's your cause of your fires. Not all fires, there are fires, but you notice in the uproar and fires, they're running out of land and space to do their fracking and such. And they're doing it in mountains and places where there's lots of resources, lots of good resources, gold, silver, all kinds of things. So pay attention to that over the next year because you're going to see a lot more disasters in the way of fires. And it's mainly to take over that land and space. And also in some places to wipe out specific communities that they want out of there completely. It's easier to burn them out. And, we know that Lucifer's all about fire and burning, so that's where that comes in. So I see fires in Australia, United States, in the state of Washington. I know that I said this in my predictions, I think last year with the state of Washington, or maybe the year before, I lose track, and it did jump over into Washington. This time it's more Washington, maybe jumping over to California. I saw some major stuff in Washington state. And this takes me back to what I just said about them doing this on purpose to take over land and space. Spirit told me part of the space that they want to burn is to access the water easier, the waters that they need to use to do whatever they do with their agenda, besides bottling it up and selling it to you. They bottle up faucet water and sell it to you. I go to the grocery store. I noticed this in Sedona, Arizona a lot. I never noticed this back home on the East Coast. You go into the grocery stores and it's all distilled water or purified water. You don't find spring water. And when you do, it's usually gone. Like, and I go to the grocery store, if there's spring water, I buy the 2.5 gallons. I'm going to eventually get to 5 gallons like I did back east, so that there's no plastic waste and carbon footprint with that. But yeah, they're pushing out here. They push the purified waters and they push the distilled waters. Purified waters are loaded with fluoride and pesticides. That's why they do it. They don't want you because people aren't drinking their faucet water anymore. People aren't filtering their nasty faucet fluoridated water in the United States and Europe anymore. Not realizing is I've had many people say, well, my township doesn't fluoridate the water. Yeah, they do. It's a federal mandatory law in the state in the United States of America since 1963. It's in your water. And the molecule, you can't get fluoride out of your water with a regular filter. You need reverse osmosis or you need a Berkeley filter with the additional fluoride filter to get it out. The molecule makeup, chemical makeup of water and versus fluoride is so close that it's hard to separate the two from each other. So fires, more in Australia. I feel sorry for Australia. I mean, I feel sorry for a lot of the world, but Australia, man, they're just like they just want to like really literally wipe it out. There's got to be something very valuable to that land that they're trying to access that they're not able to yet, or they're going to be able to from these fires that they just let loose. And once the firefighters supposedly get control over them, they light more. That's what they do. And then they blame it on lightning or other sources, or there's even been cases in the United States where people were accused of being the cause of the forest fires just to please the public and have somebody to arrest and for political agendas when it wasn't had nothing to do with that person. It's pretty sad. Next thing comes up is Iran, Israel problems, big problems, and North Korea back in the news, which we talked about that already. But I'm going in my list of bullet points because I'm almost through. Um, Iran and Israel. I mean, The Bush family, the Illuminati, whatever the hell you want to call them, started this back with old man Bush, who decided to wipe out one country at a time in the Middle East, to take over the whole of that land. And they have done so. There's only pretty much one left that they want really, really bad. There's more than one left. There's one they want really bad, and that's Iran. And Iran is pretty much very much on to the United States and the deep states agenda. They're onto it. They know it. And they're not going to give up, and they're going to fight it. And I personally don't believe that Donald Trump, anyway, would start war with Iran unless he was forced to and pushed to. And that would be because they bombed something of ours or something like that. But don't believe it either, because they do that. That's what they did to start one of the wars. Is like, look at Pearl Harbor, and how like they do these things on purpose and then say, oh, they bombed Pearl Harbor, and then they start a war. I'm just using that as an example, by the way. That was just an example. Not that's even a true example. It was a metaphor. Yeah, how is that? That's what they do. So don't believe what they're telling you about this. Although I will say, and I have a reminder here in my brain, that the so-called Antichrist, as they call it, years ago, I said was in Iran, and he was a young man. And this had to be about 3 or 4 years ago. So, and I believe, if I remember correctly, going back to those predictions in my mind, I said that. What did I say? Oh, that whatever leader's in power at that time, when that leader goes out of power and a younger, new leader goes into power, there's your Antichrist, who is really there to wipe out all the true religious artifacts that tell the truth about all of us in Israel. Because Israel, even though Israel don't want it there, they don't want your Christian asses there. They don't want that. But they have to have that because they depend on that for their economy and everything else. If it was up to them, they'd go in and wipe it all out if they could, and they wipe out the Muslim ability to go there. They do it all. That's what they want. That is like the religious hub of the world. And where you have religion, you have control. Religions control the people. And if that's the hub of it all, then you have the hub of your control of all things on the planet, would be pretty much Israel, that little area there. Not that it's the Israelis that are controlling it, but they're in Israel, and major problems are coming for Israel. And if any war is to start with Iran, it's going to be because of Israel. And the only way the United States is getting involved is because we're backing them up. And I would hope that that would not happen. I would pray that wouldn't happen. But there's that part of me and in my feeling and in my vibes that it is going to happen, and it may happen right around the year 2023. So I don't think it's going to happen this year. They're going to try to do that. But Trump, I will say, like, you hear him, he don't want war. Who wants war? War is sadness, but it's good for the economy. It boosts the economy. It makes the rich people richer. So that's where you're going to see problems with Iran and Israel that come up, because I have them side by side, Iran/Israel problems. So that's goes into what I just said, that I believe that um, Israel is going to ignite problems with false flag events, like saying that they were bombed or something along those lines by Iran. Iran's also one that doesn't want war. And if you look back at the last time Iran had a war or caused a war, we're going back a very, very, very long time, before all our times. And that follows up in my bullet points of North Korea back in the news, which we talked about. And then my next bullet point here is a push for digital currency overseas in China first. So China is going to be the first, because again, they are the ones that are basically as close to being where the darkness wants us to be on the planet. They're the closest, but there's still more work because darkness doesn't have them as suppressed as the darkness wants them to be. So that's where you're going to see the digital currency start to go into place in a new one that is going to look like gold, but it's going to be digital. And I don't know how that's going to look like gold. Maybe the name of it, possibly, but they're pushing for that. My feeling is it's already in play. It's already in play. It's already in play. So it's got to be a digital currency that's already in existence. It's not the big one. Um, you know, what do you call it? It's your blank. Speak to me, somebody. Oh, Bitcoin. Thank you. Somebody just said that. Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin. That's going to collapse eventually. They don't want Bitcoin to be worth what it's worth. But digital currency, folks, do not agree to digital currency, which we all need to do. And I do this a lot as much as possible is use cash. Don't even use your ATM card anymore for purchases. Use cash. Next time you're at the grocery store, do the ATM, take out 20, $40, have the cash in your pocket. When I go to small stores like pizza shops or anything like that, the barber shop, I always give cash. Always. I make it an effort. Like I feel bad when I actually don't have cash on me and I have to use my card that comes right out of my bank account. Like it's the same thing. Thing is that's what they want you to be programmed to do. They don't want you to use cash anymore. They want you to use digital currency because when you have digital currency, they can control you even more. They control the food you eat, anything. You don't follow their rules, they just take it away. They freeze everything on you. That's what they do. So try to use cash. Um, banks are going to start to fall. That's coming too. I can't wait. I mean, it's already happening on one level, but the interest rates are going to go lower again this year in the United States for sure, especially when it comes to housing and the housing market. And the housing market's peaked a lot, and it's going to peak probably this year. So this will be the peak year. So if you're looking to sell, this would be the year to do it. If you're looking to buy, you might want to hold on a little bit because there is going to be eventually another housing crash that like we had back in 2011. That's going to occur. Everything's going to occur very quickly and very fast. And I'm pretty sure that that's all going to probably be around 2023. But I know that 2025, the shit hits the fan completely. It's rising up towards those fans, but it's going to hit. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. I'm almost done here. Two things that popped up in my mind today: Betty White and Prince Philip, which I'm going to assume are people that are going to die this year. And then now, as I say that, Mick Jagger just popped in my head, but I don't think he's going to die this year because I feel like he's a reptilian. He's going to live forever. It was a joke. I think the cocaine keeps him preserved. But he popped in my mind something with Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones and two members of the Rolling Stones. That'll be interesting. I don't know what that is. Maybe it goes back to death. But when Betty White popped up, I wrote her name down. And then I wrote right after that Prince Philip, who would never even pop in my mind at all whatsoever. Like I wouldn't even known who the prince was if that didn't pop in my mind. I had to look like Prince Philip. Like who the hell? Like I don't follow that. Yeah, they're going. And there's going to be major issues with England and with that whole political system when he dies. I don't know why and what his death would have to do with that, but maybe brings out truth. I'm not sure, but you can see that soon after a death and something with Prince Philip, that you can expect some chaotic situations to happen within that government shortly after. Volcanic eruptions, Indonesia, Alaska, South America, one that causes issues during the holiday rush. I think I told you that in the beginning, but I'll repeat it just in case I didn't. 2023 is a year of chaos and the year that we may end up in martial law in the United States. Be aware of that, especially like if they were the like say again that prediction I said about Trump being reelected and dying in that third year of his second term being true, and say that he was murdered. That could cause chaos. They would like to see that happen. That's what they want more than anything is chaos amongst the people. Let the people kill themselves. Let the people do, that's what they want. So 2023 is a very big year, especially from the month of July on. July 1st, the second half of the year is going to be chaotic. That's only 3 years away. I mean, it's not that far away, folks. We got 2020, 21, 22 to go through. And then that fourth year from now, which is technically 3 years from now, is going to be chaos. And the earth shift, because somebody asked, oh, wait, let me jump down because I have two more things written here. Large arrests that you're going to see taking place with corporate deep state globalists, the Luciferian clan, as I call them, or Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. But the globalists, the ones that control everything, the deep state, you're going to see large arrests take place on a corporate level coming up this year. It's going to start, and then each year it's going to get more and more progressed with that. I mean, like the takedown of CEOs, the takedown of corporate leaders and corporate owners. You're going to see it happen. A lot of it's going to be arrests. Some of it's going to be for odd things like espionage, money laundering, anything that they can find that they already know. So here's the good thing too. You know how they follow everything we do through our cell phones and all, and that's what the darkness does. Did you know there's an army of light too? And the Army of Light uses the same systems as they do. The same method of recording everything and keeping record of everything. So there's record of all this stuff that all these corporate scumbags have done their whole lives. And it's all gathered together in a big file for each one of them so that they can go in the Army of Light and start arresting these crooks, these scumbags, these globalist leaders. And you're going to start to see that happen this year. It's going to be a big one, especially when we get into next year. After the whole election thing happens, look out. And actually, no, that would be late this year. Especially if Trump won the election this year. Shortly after, you're going to see him go after them big time for this, what he's causing to him and his family this year. Oh, there's another thing I learned. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this yet. Um, yeah, I'll wait. I'll do a video on that. I got a lot of good videos planned out. And like I have a list here of stuff. Just working with the 7 prophecy video first. That'll be the first one you'll get by the next week or two. Depends on how long it takes me to produce. It's going to be short. It'll be simple. It'll be easy. But I want to get this information out to you all. And then the last thing on here is big problems with big pharma and Monsanto. And my bullet point, I wrote big pharma and Monsanto takedown, and that's been a big one already with Monsanto taking down with the whole Roundup thing. And I tell you, that whole Roundup causing cancer. My brother got cancer from Roundup, so he's part of that class action suit. Like he is definitely a victim. He actually found in his garage the bottle that they had with the serial numbers for that particular one with the lawsuit. He had that in his garage still. He had severe cancer, a tumor behind his heart. They had to take his heart out and put it aside to take the tumor out. Which I can't wait. This is another video. That's going to be my favorite video actually that I put out really soon. As soon as I can get my brother to do this with me, to tell you about his near death experience. It is friggin' wild, mind blowing near death experience. And I can't wait to get that out. As a matter of fact, I think I'll call my brother when we're done and say Happy New Year and ask him to do my video with me because he's in Florida. I'm in Arizona, but we can do it through Skype and stuff. And basically, I want him to tell you his story because it's pretty friggin' wild. And coming from him, let me tell you, it's even more wild because he would have never believed in any of that. So Monsanto takedown, that's coming. They already know it. Monsanto is again another one of Lucifer's creations to poison you, your food, and everything else. And anybody out there that uses Roundup, literally, you need your ass kicked because you should not be using it. They should not even be allowed to sell that. We're the only in the United States, the only country in the world that is not banned. And if you have a loved one, a husband, anybody in your family that uses that crap, tell them to stop immediately. Take that stuff and dispose of it properly, and don't let them use it anymore. You want a good weed killer? Simple. Get a gallon of apple cider vinegar, a cup of Epsom salt, or 2 cups of Epsom salt, and maybe a half a teaspoon of some dish detergent. Shake it up, put it in the thing. Sometimes you have to spray certain weeds are a little more resilient. You have to spray them a couple times. Natural weed killer right there, folks. Apple cider vinegar, Epsom salt, little dish detergent, and do it in the bright sun, and you'll kill everything. That's what I use as my weed killer. It works well. It stinks a little bit like vinegar, and neighbors will be like, "Oh, what's that smell of vinegar?" That's the weeds dying. So it will kill everything in your grass too. But all these insecticides and all that stuff is just a bunch of baloney when you can get natural stuff that is not harmful to you, your children, or your family. Why would you not look into those options? Oh, here's one for you. Cold sores. I never got cold sores in my entire life. And then I started getting cold sores a couple years ago. I bought that Abrevia stuff that's super duper expensive. You get a miniature tube for $40. Did nothing. I could not get rid of my cold sores. And my friend be like, "Oh, just let them run their course." I'm like, "Oh, that thing could run its course." I got scars, 2 scars from them damn things. Never got them in my life until 2 years ago. You know what I learned gets rid of them? I actually even get them in my nose, and I like get these sores. I'm like, what is wrong with me? And my friend who was just here, my best friend, also is a doctor, and yeah, so she can vouch with me with this. Peppermint oil, peppermint essential oil kills cold sores. It burns like a son of a bitch, though. I will tell you, good essential oil, it will burn. Make sure you can use it on your skin and all that. Make sure you're not allergic to it. It gets rid of it completely. And now I know because it usually feels like a little pimple coming in. And I know right away. So I run and I keep the peppermint oil right in my bathroom with Q-tips, and I run and grab it and put it on. Last two times that the cold sore tried to come in on me, it didn't come in all the way at all. Barely even came in. Peppermint oil killed it. Natural things, folks. Natural things for natural humans that we are supposed to be. So with that, I must move on because I must eat some food because I am hungry. And I told you I wasn't doing 3 hours today, and I've been here for over 2 hours. I'm going to break this all down, folks, right down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and then the little bell that's there. Make sure you click on that bell to receive notifications, or otherwise you never will. Again, YouTube did that to make it people think that they're subscribing to pages and get notifications, but you don't. You have to click the bell and you have to actually go in there, and it takes you an extra 3 seconds to do so, but you have to do that because, especially on channels like mine or others that are getting truth out there. Um, weird. Like, show me a blocked message, and it was a good message. Why would they block that? Stupid. Yeah. So I'm going to come out with a list. I will do some more meditations. I will do a bulletproof, and I will actually come back to you within the next week. Probably this time next week. I'll probably do a weekend because most of you folks are off on weekends. And I'm actually going to read the whole list as a numbered bullet without talking about it. Predictions. But I need at least a week to do that. Some of these I'll repeat because I will go in and relook at what I covered today. I didn't even, and I told you I have a paper somewhere with all bullet points on it from the past couple of weeks of stuff, because that's what happens once I open up for predictions. It just comes to me. I could be driving down the road and I'm typing in my phone. Oh, wait, that just reminded me. I think they're on my computer. I think I put them on my computer. So give me 1 second. Let me see if they're on here. As soon as I get the notes up here. Ah, ah. This is a small list, but hey, this will work. Let me make sure. Let's see if any repeat what I said. Water and where it is going. The rise in water prices, especially in China, Japan, and the United States. Waters and rivers will continue to disappear. Floods backfire as the divine washes away the darkness. So I don't even know. This is just stuff that like literally comes running through me and I type it up. So let's go back to that. So water and where it is going. So on the subject of water. Again, water is the fruit of life. Without water, nothing on this planet would survive at all whatsoever. You can survive longer without food than you can without water. Without water, you're dead. So you're going to see, and this Nostradamus predicted this, or maybe it was Edgar Casey. Water will become worth its weight in gold. If you go out and you buy a little bottled water, I don't have bottled water, but a little bottle that you buy at your little convenient store, gas station that you pay $1 or something for. Even if you buy I'm talking spring water too, not even the purified stuff. They charge you more for spring water, even though it's not always spring water. If you bought water that way, you're paying anywhere from something like $7 to $18 for a gallon of water. Have you ever really think about that? That's more than double the price for a gallon of gas. You're paying that for water every time you buy a bottle of water at your little convenience store. Even if you're buying the bigger ones that are 99 cents because they're two for $2 or whatever, add it together, you're still paying $4 or $5 for a gallon of water. You're paying more than you are for gas. For water, folks, for water. So you're going to see major stuff come up around water. We had this with North Dakota and Standing Rock. Look. Yes. This thing's in my way. Water is life. Water is sacred. Water is life. And someone gave me that. A client gave me that. I was so honored. You're going to see a lot of this come up with the North Dakota stuff that happened at Standing Rock a couple years ago. with the waters in the pipelines. Except this time you're going to see waters that are poisoned. I think I said that earlier. I think that came out on my mouth earlier about oil spills. One off the coast of Alaska, a pipeline breaks that gushes and gushes that they can't stop from gushing right into the woods and the forests of the mountains. Probably somewhere in the mid United States, mid upper United States, maybe even towards the left side, North Dakota, South Dakota. So these are things that are coming to me now. So yeah, again, especially Japan, China, and the United States, and then water in rivers begins to disappear. So we know that happened. I was talking about that with Australia earlier, but now we're going to see a lot of that happening again in the United States. And remember, where they start to dry out the water, you're going to start to see that followed by fires, and then you're going to blame no water on the fires. But that's their plan: cut off the water, build a dam, don't let people see or know, let it dry out. Everything gets drier, easier to burn, easier to get in there to get their oil and do their fracking. That's what they're doing, especially again, United States. But you'll see this in Australia and all out. New Zealand, another one. Big rivers that disappear, big lakes that disappear, cities eventually by 2023. Um, there's going to be places like Las Vegas. I went to Vegas this year for my brother's wedding. First time ever. I got off the plane. I'm like, ugh, this is Vegas. Yuck. The energy there was so dark and so bad. I could not believe how dark it was there. But again, think about it: gambling, drugs, legal prostitution. Like it is the hub of all that. It's where it all began. So of course, it would be a hub of darkness. Well, you're going to see that city will be one of the cities, one of the first cities to dry up completely. The thing that they have going for them is they have enough money to get that stuff in from as far away as they possibly can. But you're going to see cities starting to dry up. You're going to start seeing it this year outside of the United States and throughout the world. But you're going to start hearing about it more. I know this happens. It's been happening for years. The naysayers out there, we know that it's common sense, but you're going to see it on a much larger level this year in areas, followed by forest fires that are all part of not even what they're telling you. So the rivers aren't drying up. They're taking all the water and using it for other things, or they're directing it into a different direction, moving it and pointing it in a different direction where you think it's drying up, but it's actually not. So be aware of that. Floods backfire as the divine washes away the dark. That's what I put on my bullet point on my computer, but I don't know. Actually, floods backfire as the divine washes away the dark. So I guess I would take that they're going to try to flood something through weather control and such, but it's going to backfire and it's going to wash away the dark. So we'll have to pay attention to that as the year progresses and try to remember and remember that. That's a weird one. Even I say that's a weird one. But so they have this plan to flood something, whether it's through storms or through a dam break or whatever, and it's actually going to backfire on them and wash them away instead. That's great. Yeah, water washes all. Final buy-ups of all the global waters: capture waters and you capture the people. Capture the waters, you capture the people. Control the food, you control the people. Burn them out, and they will run to your waters. Oh, okay, I get it. So, Nestle, which a lot of you know of, own almost every water bottle company in the United States of America. Nestle is based and came from China, who came to the United States and started basically mining our waters and selling it back to us. And they bought up all the companies back on the East Coast. They own Deer Park, Poland Spring Water. They own them all. Look at the bottles. And they even do it under other names where you look at a bottle of water and it says it's made by such and such company. Yeah, that particular one was bottled by that company, but you don't realize that Nestle has all these subdivision companies that are owned by Nestle that use a different name on their water bottles. But so basically, this is saying that they're buying up the rest of our waters globally because they believe if we capture all the water, we control all the people. And burn them out of places by drying up the waters or literally burning them out. I just said that too about burning. Water is drying up, and yeah, that actually all goes together. Ew, weird. These are some things I read that I write randomly that I'm like, ooh, that's weird. That's when I know, like, it all comes from spirit. Sometimes I'm like, wow, that's some really intense spirit stuff there. Once the people are starved and fellow humans come together to feed the people. So we've done that. We did that with Live Aid with Africa and feeding them. So um, then they will start to thirst the people out instead. So like when you see people going hungry and us feeding those people, they're gonna make it so that now we can't get that they thirst them out with water. They're all about the waters this year, all about controlling the waters and shifting the waters in different directions to also try to shift and make their agenda easier and the earth shift to not be as successful as it's going to be. Fires in areas which burn, government big corp takeovers, fires in areas they want for resources. We talked about this already. Burn out the people with Lucifer's hellish fires, take the waters from the people. China will China and their slow takeover. Russia too will be faced with China backfires. I don't know what that means. I have to go back to that one. China and their slow takeover. Russia two faced with China back. Oh, okay, yeah, I got it. So Russia's a little two faced, and they're playing sides with China. We know that in a way that benefits their country, and you can't knock somebody for trying to benefit their people, but that's going to backfire on them. And China is not going to be the friends to them that they are currently. So we'll see that. That's all the division that's happening. The Muslim takeover. We talked about that. So a lot of these things I talked about. The plan that they have to collapse the dollar. The plan collapse the blue of the dollar. I must have mistyped that. But yeah, they have a plan to collapse the dollar. They've been planning that for a while. It's not going to happen quite yet, but it's coming. And they're going to try to use again when that'll happen after the election. And as to who's in there, and if Trump goes back in the White House, that's when they're going to really start to try to collapse things because they want to make his economy not look as strong as it is. Anything they can use against anybody, it's pretty sick. Governments block off rivers, drive their climate change depopulation goals. We just talked about that. Yeah, so this is all stuff I already actually wrote my other bullet points. Catholic Church is falling, the mosques, Catholic churches become mosques. Yeah, we talked about all that. That's interesting that I talked about that, even if some of that wasn't even in my bulletproof bullet points that I have written in front of me. And that's stuff that I typed over the past month of stuff that just kind of popped up in my head. So with that, Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for following me. Thank you for clicking on the subscribe button at the bottom, along with clicking on that bell so you get notifications. I do a lot of live stuff now. I mean, not a lot, but I've been doing live stuff. I do it here on YouTube, but I also do it for my following on my Facebook fan page, which is listed under Psychic Medium Joseph Tittel. So don't look for me and friend me because you're not going to get anywhere with that. You actually have to look for my Psychic Medium Joseph Tittel page and like that page. That's where I would do the live stuff. I try to do both when I can, and I have two components to do it: my cell phone and my computer. I'll do the same live feed on both of them, but I'm pretty much going to be focused towards everything on YouTube. I'll be doing that for a while. Everything will be focused towards YouTube. And then when I have my other platform that comes out, that'll be a subscriber platform that will give subscribers more information and better opportunity. But I will still always be here for my friends and followers on YouTube. Um, why is it block out messages that are not supposed to be blocked out? I don't get it. People are so weird. Anyway, with that, last thing 2025 to 2032. 2025 to 2032. Again, I would know for a fact that I am the first person on this planet Earth to put this out to you people a couple years ago. And I am doing a video on that one too. That'll be my second one after my 7 prophecy video, which I'm going to go eat. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to work on that because I'm really excited to get this stuff out to you all. I'm really excited to have all y'all to put this stuff out too. But 2025 to 2032 is what I was told the 7 years of tribulation. Well, no, I call it the 7 years of tribulation, but I was told was going to be the most significant time on the planet Earth ever in history. And I believe that 2025 is the year the Earth is going to shift. It's all going to happen summer, the seventh month, July of 2025. And that's when everything's going to heat up so fast, so quickly that everything's going to melt within a very short period of time, like within weeks, which causes these rises in waters, which causes the earth to start to quake, which brings on a ripple effect of earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and so forth. So there's again, going into fear is not going to help you at all whatsoever. Going inland will help you. Getting away from the waters would help you. It's one of the reasons, well, I could use it as one of the reasons I got off the East Coast and out of Pennsylvania because I was only an hour away from the beach in Jersey. That's because I had dreams when I was a kid of the big waves coming and washing away the Jersey shores all the time. My mom would be like, "They're just nightmares. They're just nightmares." I'm like, "No, it's going to wash us away. It's going to wash everybody away." And we all know about California, and we all talk about it here in the States, especially that California eventually is going to get that big quake and it's going to break apart and go into the ocean. It's even in prophecies. Even Edgar Casey talked about it. But they talk so much about that and they neglect the East Coast because it's going to happen on the East Coast first before it happens on the West Coast. And then will be a ripple effect. It'll happen one after the other. But it's going to happen. And again, being in fear isn't going to help you. Trying to figure out where to live is not going to help you. Worrying about where you're going to get the money is not going to help you. What's going to help you is your connection with spirit, your connection with your spirit guides, angels, and allies, and not who they are, what they look like, where they come from, and all that crap. Thinking you're going to hear them like you're hearing me right now. Not right away. I mean, I do hear them flat out conversations at times, and I'm glad my team spirit has such a great sense of humor. They keep me entertained, but that takes work. And it goes back to the law of attraction. The more you do it, the better you become at it. The more you focus on it, the more you'll be able to manifest whatever that focus is. So, connecting on a spiritual level, being the best person you could possibly be to yourself first, and then to everybody else. Because again, how can you love somebody else if you don't love yourself first? And it's true. And people are like, I love myself. I'm like, you were just complaining about you needed to lose 10 pounds a minute ago. You don't love yourself that much. If you're worried about the way you look or come off, screw it. Yeah, we can all lose 10 pounds. Do we need to make that not love ourselves? No. I worked really hard on learning to love myself, working on my own stuff and getting to this place that I am now, which I'm so excited. I worked really hard to get here on a spiritual level and a physical level, but mostly start with spiritual level. That is what you need to do. Connect with spirit. You do that through meditation. You do that by creating a space. We call it an altar space. I call it a temple. I have my temple room back there. I was going to do this in my temple room if I could get my laptop to work, but it wasn't letting me do it. So I ended up back on my office computer because I like to do stuff out of my temple room. But maybe the next time I talk to you, I'll have that all worked out with my computer and I'll talk to you from my temple room because I love temple space. Honoring your guides, acknowledging the simple fact that you have them, that they exist, we all have them, and just starting out in that fashion. Trying so hard for something and listening to them, you're just going to sabotage yourself. And here comes my baby. So yeah, it's food time, she says. Dad, it's food time. You've been there for 3 hours and you promised you weren't going to be there for 3 hours. But so yeah, let me move on with that. But folks, again, keep an eye on my social media, especially here on YouTube. I subscribe. I can't stress to you how much. Just hit that subscribe button and definitely hit that bell so that you can get some notifications. If you're not a subscriber to YouTube, you might want to start because there's a lot of truth that lingers here that hasn't been kicked off yet, the platform. But YouTube and Google kicked off so much shit, but good shit. Excuse me. It wasn't really all shit. Stuff that they don't want you to know. And then they use other excuses as to why they ban these platforms. That's ripping apart of our freedom of speech and our ability to speak out. They're going to do that with that news outlet. I told you there's a news outlet that I just subscribed to. Just check them out. And what I'm getting, if I decided to do that, it was probably because I was pulled to do that. And they're putting out complete truth I can't wait to read it. Actually, maybe I'll do that when I eat. Read my first issue. Go check my mail and see if it's out there yet. But yeah, you're going to see this is a big, gigantic year for taking away your free speech, taking away your ability to speak up for yourself. It's coming. They're going to try to sign these things into law. Be glad they're not going to be able to do it yet. Be glad, be hopeful, hold in the light the simple intention that all the future leaders of all countries and all places are those that hold and manifest the light and love that the planet needs for all of us to come together and save the earth. Because if we don't, we are never going to save humanity because humanity is going to go out. But again, the earth's going to shift and we'll spend 2025 to 2032 rebuilding the planet in pure love. So remember that, work on your spiritual self, be the best you can possibly be, first to yourself and of course to others. Because if you're not respectful of yourself, I see this a lot. People that don't respect themselves definitely don't respect others. Just like kids that don't respect their parents, they ain't gonna respect you because they don't even respect their elders. Man, my grandma would have knocked me on my ass. My mama would have knocked me on my ass, but she didn't have to knock me on my ass because we knew better. So, with that, thank you all so much for joining me. Please join me again next week. I will probably send out a newsletter through my website. And if you all are interested in any kind of session with me, you might want to do that soon because once my website is revised and updated, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, everything is changing. I'm doing some amazing retreats out here in Arizona, and I really hope that some of you will come and join me. Some powerful, amazing stuff that's happening here in Arizona. And I'm actually, in the next couple of days, we'll be launching the details for my very first Arizona retreat as a residence here in Arizona. And then I will also be launching my first online mentoring program to help you connect with your guides, angels, and allies. I'll be launching that by the end of the week. Well, no, we are towards the end of the week, aren't we? This whole New Year's thing screwed me up. But I will be launching that. I will be launching all that for you all. Thank you so much. I wish you the most amazing, most beautiful new year ever. May it be blessed with amazing flows, tsunamis of abundance, joy, and happiness for each and every one of you. God bless. Have a great day. Have a great year. And remember to love yourself so that you can properly love everybody else. Bye bye.